Sun started in the Brooklyn and you all know.
This nigga. He don't let me talk.
Hey man, what's going on with the recording?
We're live right now. What's going on? This is Brother Manifestation. Welcome to the Supreme Creator series. Today we're going to have Master Teacher Brother Ali give his teachings on the future of righteousness and what it means to be a human being here in the here and now. Brother Ali is someone that I've learned a great deal from over the years and who I highly respect. And I'm sure tonight it's going to be a very informative and copacetic broadcast. Brother Ali, how's it going?
Wonderful as always, brother. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm good. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing this. It's been too long for me.
Effort.
Yeah.
It's a joint effort with between the three of us.
Yeah.
It was
Science Supreme.
It was something that I suggested. It was just it was a good title. It seemed like something good for us to toss around tonight.
Yeah, I think it's very poignant nowadays in this time we're living right now to be aware of actually what's a human and where are we going. Where are we going from here?
Exactly.
Yeah. Math and Science Supreme Being, how's it going? Supreme, you there? Can't hear you.
Mathematics and Science Supreme.
Okay. Yeah.
He'll come up in a second. Yeah. He probably having some mic issues or something.
Okay. So brother Ali,
can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, quantum science, brother.
Righteous peace.
It is low.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm so low. I might have to log back in. Can you hear me? It's kind of low on my end.
It's actually louder than it ever has been.
Yeah, it sounds fuzzy, but yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you. Yeah, sounds fine. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I might see this up.
So the floor is yours, Brother Ali.
Oh, well, no, go ahead. I mean, you go ahead and, just break us in.
I did.
I mean, what point are where are we going to begin from?
Oh, we're going to begin from what must be done now for the human being. First of all, what is a human being? Because that term is, we use it a lot, So what's the absolute on that?
Well, it's an English word, so obviously you would look for the etymological root of it, in the English language. It's basically human is two words, hue, HUE, and man, MAN. Well, obviously, hue is referring to HUE is referring to a tint or the pigmentation or color. Usually regarding the skin. You can talk about your hair, your eyes, different things. But unfortunately, in this world, there's a lot of focus on the skin color. So, so being a human, being according to the English now, I'm not telling you what's being taught and what's readily accepted on the planet. I'm just telling you according to the English definition of it, the etymological root of it. That's what that is when you break it down. Two words, hue and man. And
Mm-hmm.
as we discussed in, long time ago in one of my classes, I did, in the reality of now, man comes from an ancient Germanic, its etymological root goes to the ancient Germanic language. And man refers to the one,
Mm-hmm.
you
The
know.
one, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, being a human being, means that you're in touch with yourself. It's more than just saying, "Well, hey, I'm something that's alive." I mean, shit, a cockroach is alive. You know what I'm
Yeah, that's
saying?
true.
Yeah, I mean, so I mean, it's got to be something more to being this. Well, I'm alive. It's the fact that not only are you alive, but you're connected, you're in touch, you're aware, of who and what you are.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to being alive, because you can be alive and be dead at the same time.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people walking around like that. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
the zombies.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I think if a lot of people saw that, like if they realized that fact, that how many people they know are a Walking Dead, basically, they probably would freak out. you know. Yeah.
Well, that's the majority of the population. I mean, everybody, is dead to something on the inside that they should be alive to. Whether it's
Mm-hmm.
the knowledge of self, the knowledge of others, um, the knowledge of of natural and holistic living, uh, the knowledge of medicinal living. I mean, there's so many different things, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially in this time right now we're living in. We have they call it the age of information. There's a
Mhm.
lot of information there, but information doesn't necessarily mean wisdom, right? Or even knowledge.
No, no, it just means to inform.
Uh-huh.
To give you something. It doesn't necessarily mean that the information is true. It's just
Uh-huh.
information. It is what it is. You have to be able to decipher. You have to be able to break down and figure out what you're getting is the truth or not.
Mm.
And that's,
That's
once again, that goes back to being, connected to yourself. Once you know yourself and you love yourself, then, that makes you more aware, of your surroundings and the world that you live in.
mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah. What's a good way to do that? Like examples of getting in touch with yourself.
you know what? I've talked to a lot of people about this. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of it is what you're born with. It's who you are. On the inside too. And in some way or shape or form, I might, that may seem unfair to those, but like, well, some people will say, well, what if I wasn't born with something like that? Well, then what? What does that make me? I don't know. I can't answer that. The only thing I can,
That's true.
yeah, what I can say is that, from my observations is that, those that are seriously in touch with themselves like that, man, they were born with this. They've been like this since they were young. Since they were kids, they've been very inquisitive. They've just been different. They've been an outcast. They weren't like the
Uh-huh.
others. You know, um, and as you know, they grew in wisdom and knowledge, not based on the world's standard of education, and information, but they grew, in wisdom and knowledge based on nature, based on what was naturally, what naturally came to them, what they naturally observed, through mathematics and science, almost being like almost a self, kind of like being self-taught.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think Supreme, you talked about that the sense that from an early age you knew you were different and special in a great way, right?
Oh yeah, certainly. Um,
Yeah.
we all do, and um, it's said that she knows us before we know ourselves. So she meaning the government or America or
Mm-hmm.
the devil. You know what I'm saying? Where a lot of children with gifts, when they find out or they discover that these children are really very artistic, you know, and creative, they put them in what they call special ed class. A lot of gifted people were put in there. I'm being one of them. And then they test them and they find out, like I got a test and they found out I was 5 years past my age or something. I was like advanced.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't know what to do with a lot of people with gifts and whatnot. You know, they say people who are autistic, you know, they're good with numbers and other things. I'm not advocating autism. I'm just saying some of these people that you count out, they have gifts that the world can benefit from.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
True.
I, I've heard that too. Like in how, for example, you bring up autism, that some people theorize that a lot of those children are actually advanced in the sense that they're ahead of this age we're living in now, you know, this current age. So that's just why they seem out of place. It's because they're supposed to usher in the future, you know, how we're supposed to end. But the people are so old school and not attuned to their gifts that they see it as a hindrance or whatnot, when in fact it could be a gift. It is a gift.
Well, once again, that's for those that are, naturally born with that. But see,
Hmm.
we live in the devil's world, and in the devil's world, they practice, evil things like prenatal care and
Hmm.
and birth control. And see, these things people don't realize, and it's particularly women, because a lot of it is geared towards them, especially the birth control and the prenatal stuff when they're pregnant. This is all chemistry. This is all some Frankenstein shit that they're playing with these women. And they're putting these chemicals in their bodies, like these shots they give these girls, to keep them from getting pregnant. I think they give them a shot in the arm. I can't remember what it's called, but and then they can't get pregnant for I think like 5 years or some shit like that. Well, what in the hell did you just stick in them? That would do something like that. That would shut them down for 5 years, and they have to go back and get another shot. And then in the meantime, they're gaining a bunch of weight. A lot of them young girls. That's why these young girls are so big and bloated and fat. From a lot of this stuff that they're taking. These birth control stuff that medications that they're taking. And then when the women get pregnant, then they're giving them these prenatal vitamins
Hmm.
and all types of little shit they're giving to them. And all this stuff is directly affecting these children. And these women and the average person. We're not scientists. We don't know genetics like that, like these doctors and these evil people do. They study this stuff, man. They have
Yeah.
the science and the technology behind them in order to master these things, in order to go deep inside the human being and to mess with different things inside the human that they want messed with, particularly gender. That's why you got a lot of these children that are coming out now talking about, they're confused and the boys are acting like girls acting like boys. This is all that Frankenstein shit they've been doing, man. This ain't natural. This ain't nature.
It's not. And to build on what you're saying, it's true. Like for example, I'll be candid. Like my wife, like from an early age, I think she went to the doctor and they said something like she would have trouble having children. They said so. Well, I don't know what the reasoning behind this was. I guess they say to regulate the period because she had an irregular period, so they put her on birth control, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so she took that for many years, and then when she got off of it, the period was even more irregular, so much so that it took many years for us to have our blessing Benjamin, my son, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, what did it? What the catalyst was? Natural holistic healing. She did a 21-day water fast, and she basically reset herself. And
Uh-huh.
then like she got pregnant like a week later. Like it was ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah,
that
man. My girl. I'm sorry, but yeah, my girl just told me
good.
that it's the depot shot
Mm-hmm.
that they give
Okay.
those women. The depot.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it messes with their whole natural physiology and anatomy, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
I
For
mean,
what?
if it can shut your body down for like what 4 or 5 years, where you don't
Yeah.
get pregnant, something that's naturally supposed to occur and happen in your body, and they're able to shut
Mm-hmm.
it down for that amount of time. Yeah, that's some Frankenstein shit right there, man. That's not natural,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not when and see that's another thing. They make it easy for someone to not be human, for someone to not love themselves. They say they have over 33 different forms of birth control that are available. You know, for a woman to choose from, or someone to choose from if they don't want to get pregnant. 33.
Huh.
But what they don't do is that they don't teach people abstinence. That's the number one form of birth control right there. Abstinence. Don't fuck
Mm.
until you get married. How about that?
Yeah.
If you're not fucking, you can't get pregnant. You can't get an STD. But once again, we live in a world where that sexual activity is being pushed at a young age. It's impressed upon kids. It's pressed upon me and my when I was young. I remember coming up. You know, you got teased if you was a virgin. Like, oh man, damn, you ain't got you none yet. Oh man, you must be gay. Man, he's still a
Yeah.
virgin. He's still a
Yeah.
virgin. Dude, yeah, they tease you and talk about you.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
right.
I'm not sure what happens in the female circles. I'm not a female, but I know definitely that's what was going on in the male circles. So, this is where
Yeah.
we live, the type of world we live in. And then, they don't, it's not taught. It's not taught, well, hey, you know what? What would be best is for you to find someone that, you're equally yoked to, as they, teach religiously, and then get married and have as many children as you want to have, you know? Get married, practice polygamy, have more than one wife, if that's something that you choose to, indulge in, do that too. And have way a bigger family. Or either way, get married, do it honorably, so that way you don't have to worry about taking Frankenstein, medications, or you don't have to go down there to the hitman office and have him kill an unborn child.
The hit man. I never heard anybody say that, but that does seem accurate. Very
It's the
accurate.
hitman office. That's where the women go, man.
Yeah.
They go to the
I
hitman
swear.
office, and then he
What?
goes in there and he kills the baby for him. He's the
Damn.
These,
hitman.
these black niggas and white niggas, I gotta start including white niggas too now, because they
Mm-hmm.
all are ignorant. Um, they don't know what to do with no broad anyway, man. They let the bitch run all over them, so they can't deal with one woman, let alone a poly relationship.
Yeah, true that. They're scared to be men. They're scared to bring it up. I don't understand what they're afraid of.
They
What are you
scared of
afraid
the
of?
chick, man.
Hmm.
The chick, but they said they got a guy be 6'9", 6'10", and his chick be 5'2", and he be talking about my woman don't want me going out tonight, fella.
Yeah. Look what he's afraid of. He's afraid of losing her. He has a limited mindset instead of an abundance, because he shouldn't be afraid of her necessarily losing her, because if he's going out, he could probably get like at least 3 or 4 more. You know what I'm saying? So, but he's afraid of losing her. That's what they're afraid of. Most of them, I think.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, that means she was never yours if you were afraid to lose her. Well, what's yours
Right.
is yours.
right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know.
Scarcity. That's the word. They have a scarcity mindset
Scarcity
instead of
mentality.
abundance.
Yeah, and a
Yeah,
woman like
true.
abundance mentality. That's why she'll fuck with a dude. She'll fuck with one of the celebrities got 39 women. You know what I mean? She want to be 40, or a football
Mm-hmm.
player. They'll drop their husband and go get their favorite celebrity. You know what I'm saying? Any day because of his status. You know what I mean? He's in abundance.
Yeah. Yeah. They. Yeah. Some of those women, they probably just don't want you to rub it in their face. And however, a lot of them probably would be receptive to it if you came at it with it. You'd be surprised.
Well, once again, living in that type of, world, where, these things are being, taught and, children are growing up, being, used to seeing these type of things. We're not used to seeing that growing up, man. Most of us grew up Christian, or some half-ass Christian or whatever you want to call it or whatever, but anyway, we didn't grow up around polygamists. And if we did see it, we were always taught that, man, that shit was weird. Stay away from it.
Yeah. Isn't it illegal technically too?
What's that?
It's illegal.
You can't do it legally like that, where you can, where two people can sign. You can't sign another marriage certificate after you have one legally going. You have to, get divorced first, then do another one. You can't do it like that. But, you can take on another wife, and she's, spiritually, she's just your wife, man. It's just understood, man. It's not about a piece of paper. You my wife because you want to be with me, because you love me, I love you. We're meant to be together. I think that's how all people should get married anyway, man, and leave the state out of it anyway.
Right. Yeah. Do you think the state does that as a, they don't let people do that, quote unquote, legally, because they're afraid of people having a compound and a big clan, and which could be an army basically, or a sovereign nation.
See what the Arabs over there doing?
Yeah.
It's power, man. Yeah. Power like that, man. When you have it like that, you're having more children, more sons, more daughters, and your family is bigger. You're building your riches, and you're not, just sitting around bullshitting. You're teaching your sons and your daughters how to build and how to grow the family wealth, and pull it all under one tent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's how you become rich, man. That's how you become wealthy. And you set up something for the future generations of your family long after you're gone.
Right.
Yeah.
To get us back on about this human question we were asking about what it means to be human. Do you think it's our emotions, our intelligence, or something deeper?
What do you mean?
Because you did say you're born with it, and I do hear people, they like to use this whole thing that we're animals and all this. Human beings are animals, really. They're just high functioning, but is that deeper thing? I guess maybe you're referring to something. That deeper thing is just it just is. You just have it, and it's a matter of unlocking it and bringing it to the surface.
Well, if you're talking about, logic and emotions, you're talking about, two different driving forces in the human being. Now if you break it down even further, the human being, you have the male and the female. Those two then means that those driving forces are going to switch up and change. In the male, the logic is the more dominant driven force, with emotion being the recessive. As with the female, the emotion is the dominant driven force, and the logic is the recessive. That's why the men are the head of the family, because you have to have logic in order to lead others, and be responsible for the direction and the safety and the well-being of others. That takes logic, man, not emotion.
Yeah.
You can't feel your way through that. You have to think your way through those things. Emotions have their place, don't get me wrong. But like I said, when it comes to being the leader of something, when it comes to, being the head of something, then that takes logic. And, usually that's a masculine thing. And, that's no insult, to the feminine or to femininity, because they have their place in the world too, where the masculine there's no place for the masculine either. It just is what it is, particularly when it comes to children. In the beginning, when a child is first born, what's in place for the man? It's all about the woman. She's the nurturer. She's the first teacher. She's all that to that child. The man, we hold the baby, and the baby learns to smell us and hear our voice and all that. But the majority of what that child gets, especially if the mother is breastfeeding too, oh man, what the woman gives to that child far outweighs what the man is able to give to that child at that particular stage in a child's life. Later on, then yeah, it switches up, but that child needs that emotional nurturing. That child needs that. That's part of its development. That's why we got a lot of fucked up men out here, and women out here because they weren't properly nurtured emotionally as children in the beginning stages between the ages of 0, newborn, and 7 years old. Between those ages is when the nurturing takes place. That's when you nurture them. You love them. You give them all the emotion you can, the hugs, the kisses, all of that. You love them to death. After 7, yeah, then the discipline comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard that this child development, when they're becoming a teacher, they teach you how that year, like from newborn to 5 or 7 is when, like you said, the child gets comfortable and feels safe in the world. And it does that through the mother's love and nurturing and teaching, right? So then when it finally becomes like 7 years old, like you were saying, it starts to develop its personality and an ego where it can use like critical thinking in order to navigate the world. This is when the father comes and takes the child, like on little day trips or whatever, and plays with them, does whatever, takes them out away from the mother to let them know it's okay to be away from your mom. You gotta explore, you gotta see, investigate the world you live in, right? It's bigger than just around your mom. And then you bring it back to the mom where he can get that love and nurturing again, just to keep doing it again. They go hand in hand, those two things.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna tell you, there's a sign too. I mean, this is old school too, but with boys in particular, once a boy starts smelling, and when I say smelling, it's like, ew, I can smell you, nigga. You need to go wash your ass. It's a little underarms and his feet, and stuff like that. Once you begin to smell them, that's when they're done with the baby stage. That's it. Their body,
No,
that
no, no,
their
no, no,
body,
no. That's.
their
I'm
body.
sorry, but that's absolute. I experienced that this last
Mhm.
semester, teaching this one 6th grader in particular. He literally had the strongest BO when they would come back from break, from playing or whatnot. And interesting enough, he was the one kid that didn't know how to interact with the other kids for whatever reason. Well, I know what the reason was. His dad wasn't living with them. I think that was a big part of it. His mom will let him get away with a lot of stuff. And to go with what you're saying is, he was the first one of all this class that I noticed who had the strongest BO,
Mhm.
right? And so, dude, you're absolutely right what you're saying. Wow.
It's just it's a natural indicator, it's just what nature does, just in case you ain't paying attention. Nature has a way of showing different things, and if you're paying attention, if you're taught, then hey, this is what it is, and there's other things too, other, other factors that come into play, but that's just one thing right there. Um, but yeah, I mean, but back to the emotion thing. I mean, once again, it has its place. It has its place, man. But as me and Supreme, we tossed this around for years between us. Me and Supreme been doing this a long time. Supreme been doing it a little longer than myself, but we've always said, man, there's no room for emotion, man, when you're dealing, with the absolute. When you're dealing with mathematics and science, you have to let emotion go, because emotion is going to trip you up, because you're going to feel a certain way about the truth, and you shouldn't feel anything. The truth is what it is. It's not about, well, I feel that, well, the truth is just a little unfair. I feel like, it's a little overbearing, or I feel, it's like, who gives a damn what you feel? The truth is what it is. Deal with it. Grow from it. Instead of trying to use it, take it, and then use it, saying that, well, the truth is the reason why I can't get past where I'm at, because the truth just doesn't understand that I need to be dealt with delicately. And the truth isn't delicate enough for me to heal or for me to grow. It's just like, well, then, you know what? It ain't meant for you to heal and grow then. You're meant to just die off. You ain't strong enough.
Yeah.
And I know that, and it's cold blooded, but it may sound cold. Well, it may sound cold blooded, but it is what it is. The truth develops strength in a human being. It doesn't develop weakness. It develops strength. And if you're not becoming strong from the truth, well, then the truth ain't meant for you. I mean, you ain't meant for this.
Yeah.
Get out of the way.
Yeah. I think of some of those folks, they just like weightlifting, like getting stronger. If you're lifting weights, as you're doing it, getting stronger, it's uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. You know, trying to push up, doing a squat or a bench press of like hundreds of pounds. That's uncomfortable. However, like the truth can be the bitter truth, like Supreme teaches a lot, you know, both of you. Like it can be very uncomfortable. However, if you keep pushing through, you know, it makes you stronger. But I think a lot of times, like people, they think, oh, well, our words are so harsh. I don't want to hear it, whatever. And they try to make up excuses about they don't like us personally. But when they're not even listening, it's not about us. It's about what we're sharing, you know? What do you think about
Mhm.
that, Supreme?
Well, I always say, I used to teach that, I still teach. I mean, when
Yeah.
I used to put those broadcasts out, I always put on there, pay attention to what's said, not who's saying it, because what is said is
Mm-hmm.
going to always be more powerful than who's saying it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people listening to the weatherman, they listening to this person, that person. They don't know these people personally, but if it's something of what they're saying that they can apply with or they want to know, they'll embrace it. And they don't have to know that person personally because what they're saying resonates more.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what, man? I'm gonna say something too. I meant to say this before, man, in the last time we were all together here, man. But you know, you talk about sacrifice, man. You know, that's another attribute of a human being, man, that I truly honor and respect, man. When a person can sacrifice, you know, and man, brother Manifestation. When I first met Supreme, Supreme was on Blog Talk Radio, man. I don't know if you remember Blog Talk Radio or not,
I
but
remember it.
yeah, Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah.
And on Blog Talk, that wasn't no free platform, like TalkShoe was. TalkShoe was free. Anybody could get on there and
Yeah.
start a podcast. Blog Talk, man, you had to pony up your own little money. You had to get your chips together, man, and pay them. I think it was on a monthly thing or whatever, however they did it. And I remember, man, Supreme was paying out of his pocket, man, and never asked nobody for a dime, not one time.
Mm-hmm.
I even offered one time and asked him, man, hey, brother, man, you need something? You got a link or something we can, donate or give something to you?
Yeah.
He ain't want nothing, man. He never did. He was paying. And not only was he paying out of his pocket every month in order to do a class, and this went on, I'm not talking about for a few months, this went on for a few years.
Yeah.
When people were calling in and just openly disrespecting him, talking shit to him,
Mm-hmm.
clowning him, calling in with little voice disguisers, man, and saying, trying to be funny, being clown shit, all on his dime, all on his dime. You would think that he would be like, you know what, I'm gonna shut this shit down, or I'm gonna start charging. Everybody's gonna have to start paying me. I'm not gonna be ponying up my money every month for this to be getting
Mm-hmm.
clowned, and I'm trying to do you niggas a favor. You know what I'm saying? No, he never
Yeah.
did. Never did. He ran it until it ran out, man. So that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, man. Sacrifice,
Definitely.
man. It's a
And
wonderful attribute, man. It's a
the,
wonderful
the
attribute in a human
individuals
being.
like yourselves, man, mainly when it was me and you, brother Ali, we kept it going. That gave the encouragement that there were minds that we were getting to. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so we had other brothers. We even had a brother on there was upset with us for waking him up one time. you know, he was mad at us for waking him up.
I remember.
We did it wrong. We did a disservice to him. He was mad.
Angry.
Trying to go back to sleep.
Yeah, he want to go
Oh,
back to sleep, take the blue pill.
Yeah.
He told us that. He said, "Man, he said I'm upset with y'all brothers. Remember that, brother
yeah.
Alvin?"
Yeah, he sure did. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
upset about getting woken up.
That's very short sighted. But I can see somebody saying that. But to me, as someone who likes to look to the future too, as well as being here in the present, that's super short sighted. It's like, man, they could have woken you up from getting hit by a tractor. or
Man,
diesel.
Ask
we
him to
heard
listen. The nigga was looking for flaws, and he found the truth. You know what I'm saying? And he couldn't get around it. That was his fault. When they say curiosity killed the cat.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yeah, and this for the record, this StreamYard costs $50. What we're talking about right now, a month. It's like
Yeah,
$600. Any,
Man.
yeah.
yeah,
So
that's what
yeah,
I'm
so we
saying, man.
Plus our time. Well, we could be making even more money right now. so, so,
yeah,
like doing whatever we do to make money. Various
or
things. But we
or
want to share the truth. You know what I'm
saving
saying?
this planet. You know what I mean? I just put out. I
Yeah.
had to step out. I just posted some very powerful things because I have the responsibility of healing this planet back. You know what I mean? What we do, those who are in accord. Um, although it initiates from the head. You know what I mean? So we have to, as a body of gods, the body we have to heal the rest of the masses. You know, the asses, the tail, and make them heads. So there's certain there's certain levels to this, and when I receive transmissions and different things, um, but basically there's certain things I won't allow myself to know until it's time. I'd be like, well, you know everything, you know this and that. I do. Although, what's the point of going to the bank? I wouldn't say a bank. What's the point of going to the store with $500 million when you only need a couple of $100? You only going to this grocery store to get $500 worth of groceries, but you're going to take $1 million. It makes no sense. So what I need to know for the time, when it's time, I'll know it. I already know it. I'll be aware of it, basically. And that's math. We do that every day. You know what I mean? It's about what you need and not what you want. We deal with necessities. Having nutrients, taking care of your body is a necessity. It's not because you want or it's some type of fashion thing. Like a lot of people get in shape for fashion or to look good to catch. It's a necessity to live. Is a diet when you choose to die or your diet and exercise, meaning working out your muscles, your heart muscles, your organs, your body. You know, everything, your whole body's one big muscle. So a muscle, as y'all was sharing earlier, it has to be worked out. It has to be strengthened. You know, and the strengthening comes through motion. If your heart isn't, a lot of people they having strokes and different things because they ain't even walking. They're not running, let alone walking. So their heart, which is a muscle, it's not getting the cardio or the proper heart rate that it needs because that muscle, just like their brain, is not being worked out.
Right. Right.
So the law is you either use it or you'll lose it, and that's your mind included.
Exactly.
Use it or lose it.
Use it or lose it. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolute. That's nature. That's nature.
Another thing you brothers can attest to is that when not only I teach, when we all teach, we give references where people can look at nature. You know what I mean? That's the greatest reference. Like your brother said, nature. Look at nature. You know,
Yeah.
people cut out that religious shit right there. They just looking at you. Do you? Why? But the animals wondering like, God damn, we glad we don't have intelligence to sit here and deceive each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're like, we don't have to do about that shit. We get our own. We ain't got to worry about no government getting our food for us, and we get our own food. We get our own housing or home or whatever. Uh, you know, they do for self naturally. They don't have to be taught this,
Yep.
and through necessity. They're not. They're not out there trying to get a big house somewhere. They trying to keep warm and give everything is a necessity to them. That's how you know nature is about necessity. It's not about wants. That's why people are going crazy now. I want a Lamborghini. I want this Porsche over here. I want a big mansion, and I want a $10 million house. But do you need that? You're gonna be you're gonna be in a $10 million home, the only motherfucker in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's a waste.
it's a waste.
You ain't building no family. You ain't got no babies running around there. You know what I'm saying? At least if you're gonna have a big compound or a big house, at least that would be room for you and your family, your children, or your wives or whatnot. We talking about one motherfucker standing and is he gonna be hearing ghosts up in there?
Yeah, that does. It's a bad look, man. It makes actually the person they're trying to flex, but it makes them look more of a loser because they have no love or no family to fill the house with.
No.
You know, no kid, no children, just a dude living there by himself. Yeah.
Those mansions with 10 bedrooms, dude, that's supposed to be for a family with many children, very large family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Purpose. A purpose
What's that?
for it. You know.
Right.
Yeah. You know. That's another attribute of being a human being, man. Purpose. What is your purpose? What are
Yeah.
you here for, man? What do you do? What are you? Are you a teacher? You know?
Yeah.
Are you a father? You a husband? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a leader in your community? I mean, what are you? What is your purpose? What are you? You know, you don't have a purpose. You have a reason for being. You know, you can't just sit around and think you're getting ready to heap that shit off. You know that you're going to heap that responsibility, on the shoulders of some invisible spook god that you've been praying to. Well, God's going to work it out. God's going to make it happen. No, fool. You better make it happen. You better find a purpose. God is going to leave that same God you talking about. He's going to leave your ass on the wayside like the others before you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Purpose.
Yeah.
What is your purpose? What are you doing? And most people ain't doing shit. Nothing. They tell you, they're just like, I don't know. I really don't know, Ali. I don't know. That's sad.
Yeah. That's why they don't take life seriously because they have a meaningless life and they don't see the urgency about how every minute, you could be adding and building. But instead they're like neutral, or if they're really bad, they're subtracting from it because they're purposeless, drifting. You know,
Yeah.
having a purpose could be the greatest motivation of all time to accomplish great things.
It's righteous. It's righteous to have a purpose, man. I mean, it seems unrighteous, or wicked to not have a purpose. That means that you aimless. That means you out here, man, with no purpose. That means you ready to do some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Because if having purpose is righteous, then not having a purpose means that's unrighteous. That's unrighteousness. And unrighteousness is the breeding grounds for evil behavior.
Yeah, because if you don't have a purpose, an evil person can give you a purpose, their purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're an empty vehicle. You don't have a purpose. You ain't doing shit, so you empty. You stagnant. So yeah, so absolutely. Somebody gonna come along and fill you up with their bullshit. However that happens, whether it's the internet or the rap song or your favorite entertainer, your cousin, somebody can put some bullshit in you, and now you out here flipping, tripping.
Mm-hmm.
Purpose, man. Yeah, it's another attribute of being a human being, brother. Gotta have purpose, man.
Right. Yeah. Brother Supreme did because I remember you've talked about your story about how some of the older gods they saw something, they saw those specialness gifts in you. Did that help you cultivate your purpose more, or were you already there?
Um. Yeah. They definitely helped me. Although how they teach you is through hints and clues, kind of like the great teacher taught. A lot of people think, the great teacher, and he said, I'm honeycomb with hypocrites, or
Right.
certain other things he hinted, he taught where people can think for themselves. So a lot of things they gave me enough to direct me on what path that I'm taking, although I had to walk it.
See, right.
So now I'm still understanding what they meant, what they taught, and why they didn't, you know, why I was told that my purpose was a little too much for me at 24 years old. You know what I mean? I had to grow into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same thing with you brothers. Y'all had to grow into really the beings that you are, so that, because energy just passes on, man. That's what people don't, they think. That same rain, water is an ageless force. So that same water is it's trillions of years old. And that's not ageless. That's just a number we're just throwing around here. And that same water has been used over and over. It's been washed with, it's been cleaned, it's all been recycled. That's energy.
Yeah.
So all of the beings that we thought is no more, and this, even they said, even the great teachers said, if it pleases, he said, God or whatnot, or Allah, which means God, all in all. Uh, he said that I'll be back with him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's symbolic. That's a hint and a clue. What does it mean? These niggas going around talking about a 99-year-old man that suffered from bronchitis is riding around in a ship with Farad.
Right.
While your black ass is down here suffering, he riding around the ship. That's idiotic.
Mm.
So yeah, most definitely, man. We have to grow into ourselves. Um, Everything is a process, and the process comes with the experiment or experience. Experience is an experiment. Without experimentation or experience, you can never get to an absolute. So when people have the different experiences, it allows them to, well, damn, I can't do that no more. Last broad, I kissed her ass. She ran my ass into the mud. You had the experience. Or
Mm-hmm.
last time, I let the kids do whatever they wanted to do. They turned out to be some rotten little bastards. So I got that experience. This time I need to do it right, bigger and better. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Or what's another scenario? See, math has different equations. That's what mathematics is. It's no end of numbers. We can keep on throwing a sign or what we're saying, and the logical, which means it adds up, fact plus fact, not numbers. And we say math is universal. It's logic and reasoning, which is different variables or ideas to come to an absolute, which is what the equation is, an absolute. And then you have numbers. It's all math.
It all adds up.
Mm-hmm.
It all adds up.
Yeah. Do you think there are ability as humans to imagine the future makes us different than the other species? animals and whatnot.
You mean the dream?
The dream, yeah, and also to imagine and think about the future.
Yeah, I don't know. That's to assume that they don't.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
But assuming that they don't, let's go with the premise that they don't.
Okay.
Then yeah, that would give us an edge in the evolutionary scale above them. Because we're evolved, we're able to do something with our minds and our time that they're not able to do. Which is to imagine and or dream. You know, um, and not only that, to imagine something and then take it and bring it to fruition, make it real.
Yeah,
Sit
execute it.
down. Yeah, execute. You can sit down and dream about a house, and you're like, man, I got this house in my mind, man. It's beautiful, man. All I need is the resources, and you get the resources together. You go get the materials, and you build that house from your mind.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? You brought it to fruition. It started as a thought in your mind, a random thought that you put together, you imagined, and now it's real. You know. Well, then again, do animals possess that too? I mean, it makes you wonder. I mean, how does a bird build a nest? Does he see the nest first, and then build it from his mind? Or is it something that is naturally within him to do? He just does it without even thinking. How do we know? That's a hell of a thing to have to study, to get inside the thought process, how that works, the gears of it, how the gears turn in the thoughts of a bird, as far as nest building. How did that begin? Did it begin as a thought in its little brain, or is it something that is ingrained in its blood that it does, without a thought, which is really deep on another level.
Whatever they're doing, the animals, they seem to, I think Supreme was touching on this. They seem to be efficient in doing what's necessary. He used the word necessary. They do what's necessary, and I'll say they're efficient. And it's like humans use their imagination to do great things and strategize and whatnot, but also that same imagination is causing a lot of angst and confusion and depression because they seem to overthink and overimagine the wrong things. You know, I don't know if animals do that much, unless they're a dog who's copying their owner. But other than that, I don't think animals stress like that, like the humans. Yeah.
Well, I think they live on a more, if you look at just on a basic line of observation, they have a much, I would say, higher and more evolved, sense of being,
Yeah.
in tune with the earth and nature. They are perfectly in tune, with, who and what they are and what they're supposed to be doing. The
Hmm.
human being, on the other hand, is having issues, with
Right.
their time here on the planet.
Right. You think about how a bird does it, or like if that bird is weak, that baby bird, she'll push it out the nest sometimes and kill it if it can't fly, right? And
Yeah,
like handle it with kid gloves. Whereas a human will see that same sickly, weak bird and don't want to nurse it and give it a little droplet of food, right? You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
Um,
Yeah.
uh, Especially pit bulls, man. A mother pit bull, she'll eat her puppies, man, if she
Oh
think they're
yeah, that's
sick
right.
or they're not strong enough.
Hmm.
She'll eat them when she first
Hmm.
has them. Yeah, my pit bull did
Wow.
that out there in California, man.
Yeah, I've heard that happen. Hmm.
Yeah, it pissed me off, man. She ate them puppies, man. I was angry as hell she did that.
Jesus, that's Mother Nature, right?
Yeah, that's
That's
nature, though. What could
something.
you
That's
do?
nature. That's God. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's why my ex-father-in-law was telling me, man, don't hit her, man. Because I was pissed off, man, because I had puppies all picked out. I had a plan, and she ruined that plan, man, in one night.
Did you like this go like you left the room, then you came back later and you're like, wait a minute.
Oh, left her outside,
Where's
man, with her puppies, just,
yeah.
don't bother her, leave her back there,
Yeah.
Came back the next morning, man, to go check and was like, man, hey, man, I'm a few puppies short, man. I thought the Mexicans climbed the fence and came and got me, but no, they
The
wouldn't have,
Mexican.
they wasn't coming over there,
You're
man, messing
California,
with
huh?
lady, man. That lady ate them puppies.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even in the mythology of the European, in the Greeks, I think it was Kronos who was Zeus's father. He ate all his kids, and the only one he couldn't eat was Zeus.
For Zeus.
Yeah, who became the chief god, their god in their pantheon. Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's kind of the same thing today. Parents devour their children today. You don't do it
Mhm,
physically. They don't do it physically no more like that, but they devour their little souls, man, and devour their minds, man, with the
mhm.
parents' bullshit,
Yeah,
especially, and I hate to say it, but it is what it is. I mean, especially those that are raised in single mother households,
yeah,
they
that's
suffer
true.
the worst.
Mm, that is true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nowadays, it seems like being a father is not very valued in the mainstream society. It's like people want to be, uh, I don't know. Yeah, they rather get a dog or a cat than have a child. Uh,
It just goes to show you, man, like I said, man, the evolutionary process of the human being is going in reverse. Something has to be done in order to just halt that and get it going back in the right direction again.
well, that goes into my next question for you, brothers? Is that because like much of modern humanity well, it used to be you could say shaped by biology, right? But is it now being more shaped by this devil's culture, and that's why it's so upside down, opposite?
What do you mean? If what's upside down?
The evolution of humanity,
Oh, humanity's
because it used to be
evolution.
shaped by biology more, but now it seems like by the evil culture, the devil's culture. It's being shaped more with that. People aren't going with the urge to have a family and produce in abundance. Yeah.
Well, that's recent. That's been more recent than it uh, has been over time. Because growing up, like I said, I'm a little older than you brothers, so I remember growing up. That was the thing, having a family. Everybody when I was growing up had a father. Everybody's pops was at home, and everybody had brothers and sisters, man, and it was just normal. I lived in a normal neighborhood where it was just families everywhere. That's what all I knew growing up. I didn't see single mother households and you know, you know, I mean, it might have been abuse going on in households, but back then, man, people did a damn good job of covering that shit up. It wasn't, as prevalent, I guess you could say, but I would imagine there was abuse going on then too, growing up. I mean, whether it was sexual, physical, emotional, whatever type of abuse we're talking, there was abuse. But today, obviously, that abuse is happening oh my God, astronomical numbers. You'd probably be hard pressed to not find a household in America where the children aren't being abused in some way, shape, or form. You know, they're being abused, man.
Yeah.
And now we can say that that's all. We can give the credit to the devil's world and be like, well, man, the devil's world, man. Man, that's all they teach and this and that. Well, if you know that, then you need to do better. You need to teach better. You know, teach better. If you know that you live in a fucked up world and you know the society ain't right, well then you ought to be, that driving force that's taking your children in the opposite direction of the way the world is going. You should be
Hmm.
steadfast and strong, making sure that your children are being taught right, that your children are eating right, and that they're engaged in activities that is conducive to a good, healthy lifestyle. so that they can grow up and be productive adults, not only for themselves and their families, but for their communities.
Mm.
That's that's incumbent. That's the responsibility of the parent. Other than that, don't
That's,
get in the game. Don't step in the ring. In the parent ring. Don't even get in there if you're not going to
yeah.
shoulder that responsibility willingly. I'm not talking about shoulder responsibility and be talking shit about it the whole time. I'm talking about you shoulder that responsibility with a loving heart.
Yes.
You love doing it. You love being a parent. You love the struggle. You love the bullshit that comes with it. Fuck it. It's part of the program. I can handle it. I want to do this. I love my kids enough to work my way through the bullshit and the nonsense. It's going to pass. It's only temporary.
Yeah. Yeah. My son's only 6, but it's been one of the most intense and greatest experiences ever. Being a father. And I did a lot of cool stuff before, I have to say. Yeah. But it's definitely makes this game of life, this life, you know, real, more alive because it's a purpose. That's one of my big purposes right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stewardship of children, man, is a wonderful responsibility, is a heavy responsibility. It's a responsibility that every human being, I think, should endure.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna tell you something, brother. Don't downplay. Do not downplay being a husband either. It is
Oh
equally
yes,
it's
that's true.
equally as rewarding.
Yeah.
Because as with being a father, you also with a wife, you're taking her. You have stewardship over your wife.
Hmm.
You're responsible for her if you're a good husband. You're responsible for her safety. You're responsible for the way she eats because you're the one that's bringing groceries in the house. That's on you. You're
Hmm.
responsible to make sure that she's well provided for. She has a roof over her head, that she's warm in the winter, that she's comfortable in the summer, that she has a nice bed to sleep on. She has clothes in that closet that are nice and attractive for her to wear. These are all things that you provide as her husband because you love and honor her.
Yeah.
The same that you would do as your child. You take care of your child the same way.
Yeah. I think it was you and Supreme. I know it was you and Supreme who taught on the fact that um your partner, your woman, your wife has to be kind of like a copy of you, your mind. Use a copy of your mind, especially if she has children, because you used the example before about how the kings used to go conquer and explore territory, right? But he had to be away from the kingdom, expanding the kingdom, while the wife was in charge basically of managing the kingdom. And in
Right.
order for her to do that, she had to basically have a copy of your mind and your
Yes.
rules and your right.
Yeah. She's an extension of you when you're not
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Same as in the household. When you're gone, when dad's gone, he's out there working and hustling all day, maybe all night, depending on what it is he does, to provide for the family. Well, the mother is the extension of the father in the home. It's not like when dad is gone. Okay, dad's gone. All right, well, fuck it, man. Let your hair down, man. Let's go on ahead, tear the house up. Let's open up the doors and just let anybody walk in. Let's forget about all of the rules
Hmm.
that dad set for us because he's not here. No, the mother is an extension of that father. The rules are still in place and she's enforcing them while he's not there. And not only is she enforcing them, she's letting them know, hey, listen, I'm going to let him know when he gets home about any transgressions against the rules that have been set so that he can deal with it. If I can't handle it myself as mother, then I'm going to let your father handle it. He
Yeah,
needs he needs to be made known of this. That's a
yeah.
good wife. That's a good mother.
It is.
You
But the
know,
sitcoms will do differently. They'll show the father as a buffoon, not knowing what happens. The
well,
Homer Simpson and all that stuff. Yeah,
that's for those that want to sit and put that kind of shit in their mind all day long.
yeah,
Instead of knowing and recognizing it like, oh man, this is some nonsense here, man. This is poison. They're
yeah,
trying to turn all men into homosexuals, man. Making them weak in their own house.
yeah.
No, hell no. Turn that bullshit off, man. Turn some music on. I
Let's turn
barely
some
watch that. I
music
don't
on.
watch that nonsense. I don't even watch. I don't have cable TV. Matter of fact,
Mhm.
I was just weird because I was just talking to my people, my internet provider today, because they sent a bill and the bill was incorrect. So I had to call and question the bill. And but the whole time while I'm, getting that situation corrected, the customer service chick, she's busy, man. This, that, and well, don't you want to bundle a package? And I see you just have internet, Mr. Muhammad. Wouldn't you like to, bundle your package? Like, no, I'm fine with just internet. I don't
Yeah.
need cable. I don't need phone. I don't need all that. I'm cool with the internet. I got a Fire Stick. If I want to watch movies, I can go on my Fire Stick or get up the movie app and watch a movie. I can get YouTube if I want it. I don't need watch cable. There's nothing on cable TV. It's all homosexual to me. And what's not homosexual is just pure evil. Why do I want to entertain? Why do I want to put that shit in my mind? I used to love to watch HGTV on HGTV, because that's what I'm into. I'm into building and painting and doing things
Hmm.
with houses and stuff. It's just, what I like to do. It's my thing. And
Yeah.
I used to love to watch that, man, because those shows were cool. It was still masculine then. There was a lot of shows where men came on with their hard hats and were showing you, man, how to frame and how to build and how to run wires and stuff. But now everything is so homosexual. It's all about colors and, and what feels good and what looks good. And, and the men are just so, they're more dainty and feminine than the women are that they're partnered up with in the show.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've seen that dynamic a lot where they flip it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch that shit. Just like sports. I played sports coming up, man, like any other, normal teenage boy. And even today as an adult. I mean, yeah, as a sporting contest comes on and stuff, you're probably interested in watching it, but
Uh-huh.
I've lost that interest because of how homosexual and wicked that professional athletics are. First of all, it's ridiculous. I think professional athletics is nonsense to begin with. But the fact that it's become so homosexual when it didn't used to be that way. There never were women referees. Why are there women involved in men's sports or any type of activity that's male dominated or male exclusive? Why do women have any involvement in it whatsoever? Whether they're have an opinion on it, whether they are judging it or reporting on it. Why? I don't get it. It's not it doesn't make sense. Why are you inside the male arena when there's women's sports that you could go and be referees of, you can be reporting on and doing all those things in that arena? Why are you forcing yourself over here where there's men? We don't want you here. The real men don't. Them sissy men want you here, but us real men, we don't want you in our space. There's a time and a place for you, and you should feel the same way about us when it comes to your spaces and your things, ladies. There's no division anymore. Everything has been so crossed over. Now you wonder why these men are so homosexual and you can't find a real man. So you say, and you're right, there is no more real men out there. They've all been feminized.
Yeah. I guess that would make the real men stand out more, the few that are there. Yeah. But then again, because there's so few, maybe even a woman who has potential can't even recognize that because she's seen so many poor examples of what a man is, you know?
Sometimes men need activities sometimes to take their mind, man, off of women, man. Sometimes men, man, they're too preoccupied with titties and ass. It's
Yeah.
just like, man, get your mind on something else besides titties and ass, sir. Come on over here with the rest of us, man. Come on, let's go build something. Let's go do something. Let's go fishing. Let's go do something that's
Yeah.
just the men, man. Damn, that's all you worried about. Titties and ass all day long.
Yeah.
Damn, there's more to life than that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love titties and ass too. I'm not
I
a
do
sissy.
too.
I ain't no
I do too.
fag. You know what I'm saying? But I know there's a time and a place. Even when I was younger, I knew that.
Yeah, everything's over sexualized.
Man.
So much so you can't even tell. Because remember the prostitutes used to dress a certain way with the mini skirts and the the nylons and stuff. Now it's like just the normal attire. People, civilians are wearing that stuff that it's the line has been blurred between that.
Over sexualized.
Yeah.
You know?
So much so that men are having problems even getting it up because they've watched so much porn, and then they're not used to seeing it in real life when it comes on their lap. That was a crazy shit.
Yeah, I mean,
What you gotta
you get
do
to
is think about a
it.
man smacking another man on the ass, regardless of what he did to get smacked on his ass.
Yeah, that never happened when I played football. We ain't doing that, but yeah, that's wild. They do that.
No, but you know what? Just if you ever watch the NBA, it's particularly the NBA, do you ever see when when the players are showing up before the game, when they show them walking through the tunnel, going to the locker room,
Yeah, I'm
they
about
are
to show
wearing
that.
some of the
I'll show you
gayest
some
shit.
shit.
I ain't never seen. They're wearing all kinds of leggings and
People,
dresses and shit.
yeah.
They some
That shit's
sissies,
funny.
man. Some big muscle bound sissies.
Especially LeBron James, that little bitch.
You said LeBron?
Yeah, LeBron. Wow.
He was at Diddy's house wearing a maid, them little maid dresses and stuff. With his
Oh yeah, I seen that.
he was way out over there, boy. Them guys, they had them wearing wigs, all women's clothes, all kinds of shit.
Oh yeah.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Everybody know that.
Yeah. They figured that one out a long time ago, man. How to break a man down, man. You break his ass down sexually. Especially the big overgrown muscle bound niggas. Oh, you really get to them.
The women could tell if you gay or not. They just because they could tell. You know what I mean? They know themselves in things. Cause I remember she was my ex-wife at the time. She used to tell me LeBron is. She said he's gay. He said, look how feminine he is and how he walks and all. I mean, I saw a little bit of it when he first came out because he kind of looked older, like a man. He looked like a man child. He was 18 when he came in the league, and he was like, nigga looked like he was 50. You know what I'm saying? He even had a receding hairline, I think, for a minute, and
Yeah.
he, but she knew it off the rip. Like, look at his posture. Look at, she be pointing out different things, but women know a punk. You know what I mean when they see one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, man. And then he was down there. You talking about D Wade was his boy. I mean, he was very open about that shit. And then now the whole world see how much of a sissy this nigga is. So it makes that was your nigga, huh? So I guess he turned sissy after you left from there. Get the fuck out. That nigga was a sissy the whole time. That was your boy.
We got James Harden on Christmas Day looking like he's the pimp of Whoville. I mean, this dude the Grinch that never stole a championship. In '96, Dennis Rodman really had the swagger to dress in drag and marry himself. And y'all wonder why he be hanging out with Kim Jong-un. We got Kyle Kuzma looking like he shops at Casual
Look at this.
Grandma Extra Large. I mean, if the Michelin Man is a superhero, then this guy's the villain. Craziest NBA outfit.
Yeah, we got some weirdo shit.
Oh man,
wearing dresses and stuff too.
These are some of the craziest outfits from NBA players. Let us
What the? Yeah, I know.
know
That's
what
what
you
I'm
think
saying.
about them down below. And also,
the scarf.
Check out our blog about more sports fashion. And
what? Who's that? Is that Russ?
Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook. Yeah.
Westbrook.
Opinion comment below.
great.
Yeah, those gay guys are their fashion
Also,
designers.
check out our
So you
blog
saw
about more
Shay
sports
Shay, what's his name, Shannon Sharp, with his boyfriend talking about that's my hair dye. I forgot what he's with a straight.
What?
He was in
So in the opinion, comment below.
Atlanta talking about this is my. I forgot what he said. The dude he was in
The
front row seats
stylist?
with him.
Oh,
Yeah.
stylist. They say
What
stylist.
man has a that's feminine right there? What man walk around with a stylist?
Look at this guy has his shorts and a purse.
See that. Oh, no, we don't want to see that. Come on, man.
You see how he arrived today?
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, Shay Shay be wearing those yoga pants, right? Mm. Yeah. Look at this. Shay Shay. This is him, right? Oh, here's his friend. This is what you're talking about.
Shannon Sharp, what happened? Ain't go. You and Skip. Y'all motherfuckers. Skip sounded like he had more conviction about what's right than you did. You went out your way to shit on that man. I think you don't like him because he's not gay. That's just my opinion, Shannon Sharp. I think you don't like Kyrie because Kyrie is a heterosexual male and it shows. I think you got a problem with him a bit fast. That's me keeping it one.
This right here, Brother Supreme. This guy.
That old little RuPaul. I'm saying RuPaul. That old Cisco looking at me. He looked like Cisco.
He said, "Cisco, tell me what you want." Yeah.
That's Shay Shay and Cisco right there.
Yeah, but do you notice? Do you see this? There's a towel on the ground in this little chair because LeBron he kicks it here in between when he's on timeout. He sits by his
And Shay
boyfriend,
Shay's a big LeBron fan. He defends Shay Shay. I mean, Shay Shay defends LeBron all the time. He called him the GOAT. Shay Shay.
That's some gay ass shit all by. What kind of grown ass man calls himself Shay Shay? That's a girl's name.
Yeah.
Every Shay Shay I've ever heard in my life was a girl.
Yeah.
That's some gay shit, man. And a big muscle bound nigga too calling it. That's even scarier.
Yeah, he's a big cornbread fed nigga. He big strong. He's been one of them field Negroes. He said, Master would have said, "Boy, you got too much muscle here to be a house nigga. You got to get your ass in the field."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Come out there and pull that plow.
Right. Because back then, niggas was the mule. Back in them.
Exactly.
That's what I said. Them niggas had to free themselves, man. They had to get some inventions and get creative and invent machines and all kinds of things, man. So get these white folks off their ass.
To literally free himself, right? From being a what they call a beast of burden. A mule. Yeah. Look at oh my God, you're right. It says Shannon explains why he switched stylists. Well, where the fuck did he have a stylist to begin with?
He gay.
Can't you ask your wife or something to help you or something? It was that serious? What the hell?
Hollywood, he was gay. Okay, that's his life.
Here we go.
Hollywood, he was gay. Okay, that's his life. That's not mine. Mm-hmm. Hollywood no longer styles me. Why? Because I'm loyal to Shelley. She was hurt that after 20 plus years of being my stylist, that I had gone outside to hire someone else. And someone else was getting the credit when she was there at CBS. She was there when I started at Fox. She was there when I was going out and doing red carpet events. And I never had a problem. And for me, in my head, I thought I needed someone outside. Right. I didn't buy one thing new when Hollywood started styling me. Everything, all those LB jackets, all that stuff that I already had it. And a lot of the stuff she had already put together, but I took it apart. So when he put it back together, it was just what she had put together. Hollywood, he was gay. Okay, that's his life.
I think Brother Ali taught on that one time. Brother Ali, you remember you was teaching on a man wearing another man's jersey. You know, I do remember in high school, man. You know, what I mean, the bride, if it was like a homecoming or whatever, or just a game, and she'll wear her boyfriend's jersey and stuff. You know, what I mean, the chick would.
That's how it used to. At one time in America, you know, girls used to wear their boyfriend's jerseys when he played, you know, whether he played football or basketball or baseball. She would wear his jersey, and that would show the other bitches in school, you know, well, hey, this is my man. You know, my boyfriend is number so and so. You know, and that was like a status symbol for the girls. That was a girl thing. You know, cheerleading, all that girl thing. Then all of a sudden, somehow or another, these men started wearing the jerseys. Now they're running around talking about their favorite boyfriend now. You know, Patrick Mahomes, man, that's my dude. I'm going to wear his jersey. I'm going to cheer for him. You know, I'm going to go buy me a 12-pack and a bunch of unhealthy ass food. And I'm going to sit here and cheer for this man, although the man don't know me and could give less than a fuck about me as a person. But I'm going to still be his silent cheerleader on the sideline, his fan, which happens to be fan, which, by the way, people, is short for the word fanatical.
Fanatic.
You know, which means crazy. It means you fucking crazy. If you're a fan of anything, you mean you crazy.
Yeah.
It's homosexual. I told you it's all homosexual, man. It's homosexual. They turn men into women, man. And it, just like I said, they did it easily with jerseys. And there's other levels too. They're doing it too, but that's just one example. I'm glad you brought that up, Supreme. Good point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There he is, right here.
Okay,
You back?
I was calling myself reading one of the comments on it. What idiot in there saying we're over masculine? How do you call men over masculine?
No,
What type of bitch ass shit is that? When has men become over masculine? There's a shortage of masculinity today. How do men now become over masculine?
Yeah.
Oh, she was saying no, not y'all.
She's not. She said not us, but some man. You want to ask her? She's been in the back the whole
Oh,
time.
okay. I'm
wanna
reading.
ask
I'm
her?
like, how are we over masculine? Shit,
No,
there's a
that's what I
shortage
thought
of
first.
masculinity.
That's why we gotta slow down. I thought the same thing. I'm like, what? You're trying to say we're over masculine? Okay, but anyway, you want to ask her? Here's Zephyr right here.
We gotta be a little
What's going on,
feminine.
Zephyr? How's it going?
Dang, I didn't mean to trigger you guys. I wasn't talking about you.
No, we didn't get triggered. It's quite comical to me. I'm like, how do we become over masculine?
You guys haven't seen those guys that are like, they're really into girls that have like big fake boobs and porn, and they're just like, you can just tell that they're like, there's something off with them, like they're trying too hard. I'm not talking about y'all.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Are you saying like guys are like pouring a lot, or what are you referring to?
No, guys that are like, it's like they're forcing it. Like you can just tell that they're not really that into it. They're just trying real hard.
To get a girl?
Or to prove a point?
To prove a point, yeah. You're
They compensate for something. Compensate for something they're lacking. They feel.
Oh, he pull up in his Mercedes and talking about, oh, I got a 6-figure job and what else they be talking about? Yeah, I live on the west side there in the suburbs, and then you find out he's soft as he got all this shit to cover up what a fucked up person he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like trying too hard. And it's totally unnecessary, right?
Yeah, it's covering up.
Yeah. So there's something hiding there. But it could be a few things, you know. It could just be somebody that was just like not real confident too. Like just trying.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to do it yet.
Hey, you ain't being yourself. I mean, if I had all that, a woman ain't gonna know that shit because when says how you get the chick is how you gonna have to keep her. So why would I get her with money, and then I'm gonna end up paying the bride every step of the way. I'm gonna have to keep her with my same money. How I wine and dine her. That's how
That's
y'all
right.
gotta keep it. Y'all gotta keep that up. Cause
Yeah.
y'all started the woman on that shit. You know what I mean? Y'all, a woman's only gonna give. What they say? Mother means more of. A woman is going to magnify whatever you give her. You give her a C, you give her drama, you give her care. She's gonna magnify and give it to you tenfold. Now, when you're giving her all of this whining and dining, and then you call her a gold digger, that's you was the one that you shouldn't have
Yeah,
been trying to lead with your wallet.
I think the thing is like if you're generous, it should be appreciated, right? And if it's not, then cut it off and see what happens. Because if she gets mad, then that's what she's there for.
Yeah. Yes, right. I'm, I'm not
Because
leading with
that's
no one.
fair, ladies,
If
if
she
they're appreciating you, you should appreciate them back.
if she don't like me as who I am, she don't like me at all.
Yeah.
I'm not
Well,
gonna try to be like everybody else.
I like you. And I think you took it really well whenever I was criticizing you a little bit last time. I really appreciate it that you were cool.
Oh, I got tough skin. You know what I mean? I'm not no like some of these other sensitive guys out here and be all in their feelings and all that. You know, I look at things and I try to get, you know, the truth out of it, you know what I mean? Or something. I always say, even when somebody's, you know, saying something negative or something, I'll take that and, you know, see, well, are they saying something correctly? Am I
Me too.
doing
That's what
this or am I doing that? You know, you first get a reality check of yourself, and it makes you look in the mirror. Is there something on my mouth? You know, somebody talking about
exactly. You
something's
want
on
to
me, you
know
know,
if
I
there's
want to
wrong.
know. Yeah,
That's how I tell all my friends. I'm like, if I've got something messed up, please tell me.
right.
Yeah, and sometimes they do if they're good friends.
Yeah.
But that's why I dropped that in the back check because I didn't want to trigger anybody in the world.
No,
But
we appreciate you participating. You know, I like that, you know, because then we
well,
got
thank
something to talk about. You know, the person that controls the conversation is the one that asks questions. So we try to get people to not type. What's that in there? Chat. You know, the
Yeah, chat.
to
right.
interact. Yeah,
Yeah, to interact in the chat or call in even, and we can dialogue and discuss any question. You know, we don't dodge any questions. We don't deny. It's rare. I don't think there's ever been something we said we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
yeah.
we're dealing on that. Because when you look at arithmetic and science, even if we all had to build a damn spaceship, you know what I'm saying? We had to get off this earth, and we all had to come together and use our heads to build a spaceship. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to know the materials are here because the person, mathematically, the person who has built a spaceship before did it. So the materials is definitely here on this earth. So
Mm-hmm.
when you find out what the materials is, like silver or other transparent precious metals and other different materials that are rare, um, not only rare metals but rare materials on this planet,
Hmm.
Yeah,
and you could then put those things together and do something with them. But the key is where there's a will, there's a way. There's always arithmetic. There's always a reason for everything. There's always a purpose for everything. You
and the
just have to
system
find out what it is.
conviction.
Zephyr, you're a good person to ask this question because you definitely traveled to beyond and all over around the panelverse and whatnot, and panels and chats. Um, a lot of people, a lot of the interesting shows and stuff and broadcasts, they like to talk about like the big questions like we address here, and even be it like race or like money, relationships, but why do you think that nobody not as many people come over here to talk about it? You think they're intimidated or they just don't know about
I
this, what we're doing here?
I don't know. I always like whenever I see you guys on, and I try and drop by. I mean, maybe they're just distracted by all the drama, panel versus drama,
Mm-hmm.
and they're also trying to survive. A lot of people are just getting by, and it's like, yeah, it's a lot of. I mean, I think there's a big like push towards like these kinds of discussions. But I think maybe just the word needs to get out, and I don't think the YouTube algorithms are encouraging that kind of discussion.
Right.
They're encouraging who's paying them, like the Andrew Wilsons and the Owen Benjamins and all those guys. I'm just gonna be nice.
Right.
Who knows how to decode the algorithms?
Well, you don't want to play their game because their game is controlled ops. I mean, that's what it is, or it's pay to play. It's like, who wants that? The real ones will find you. You just got to trust and be persistent. You got to have the desire to keep going, even though you're not getting anything back, because that's what you love to do. I think that's the key.
We're supposed to have a president that took away censorship. It was supposed to be an executive bill sign on censorship. He signed like 400 executive. He's not. We finally only recognize one gender. I'm glad that executive bill is in effect. Because all of these different genders they were trying to come out with. So we only recognize, two genders, male and female.
It's all right. I knew what you meant.
It's only two genders now. It's not all these other genders. So that's a good start. And it's just it's 300 executive. That's a lot, but it's so much that needs to be done away with and reconstructed that, you can sign 1,000 of them. There's still so much that needs to change.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't think I've seen any ICE agents in my neighborhood, so I think we're good over here so far.
well, I haven't even seen. Speaking of like the executive orders being passed, like with that said, the day he did that, like we got a strike on this channel, like for community guidelines, talking about Conan 19. Which I was surprised. I'm like, damn, it's damn near what, like 3 years later or whatever.
Yeah, you heard
they're still doing that.
TML got a strike for medical misinformation too.
Yeah,
right?
that's what it was too. Recently he did.
Yeah, well
We're talking about what?
I say Conan 19 because I'm not trying to get another one. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Conan 19.
Oh, you're talking about the certificate of vaccination identification.
Yeah. Please don't say that word. Yeah, don't say that
sorry
word.
about that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, normally I wouldn't care, bro, because with this channel is so close to being monetized. It's like I don't want to fuck it up
disclaimer,
right now.
dude. Like
we're just what's the disclaimer? We're not.
Yeah, we still got to play YouTube's game. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
They took away nigga. Well, no, not nigga. What's that? Fact. I used to say, man, they used to put me on Facebook jail so much for saying faggot. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, we say we don't even say that here. That we say the F word.
Oh, F word.
That's the new F word.
Damn it!
That's what I say now. I say the new F word.
The new F word. But man, you couldn't post nothing on YouTube, but they had that word. That's one of the algorithms. Is that word, that F word? You know?
Oh yeah. Hey, Supreme, when you type that, you get that red lettering that comes up like right away, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're banned for a month or something.
But you can say bitch or nigga on there though. I can say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Why is that?
You can't say the F word.
Yeah.
I can't because I'm white. I'd be singing it in my room by myself, just so you guys know.
No, you be like on white chicks. Remember they say, "Well, nobody's around."
Yeah,
and they say, that's my nigga. DOG's my remember on white chick from when they was listening to 50 Cent.
Yeah.
She said, you can't say that word. He said, why not? Nobody's around.
Well, and I be doing that, I gotta say, but not in public. I just don't say it. Even with I'm singing, when I'm singing, and I
Oh
don't
yeah.
like. I think I agree with you. Like you said earlier, that there's like different colors. All of them are still that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just ignorant. I gotta start calling, most of these white folks niggas or
That's
white
the way
niggas
to
because
get back that
they
power.
are ignorant as hell. They don't know any more than the black niggas don't know. So they
Right.
just ignorant. They just Jay's movie, but that was hilarious. The movie was
Yeah.
hilarious. I will give it
No,
that.
there's truth there because some of these panels, man, when they get so comfortable, they use language like that, and not in the way we say it, like as a term of endearment. Sometimes,
Some
the way
people
we
just
used
say
to talk,
to
but some people
trick.
say it in a mean way. Either they're trying to trigger or not. But okay, yeah, okay, we'll just give it like that. They're trying to trigger, and because they're in their little echo chamber, they talk like that freely.
Yeah, like Steven
So
does that. He did that
yeah,
earlier today. I was like, oh,
yeah, they do that shit all the time.
I don't like
Well,
that very much. I just really struggle to love that guy somehow from far away.
Yeah, he came up here with me and Supreme before. Remember that weird devil Supreme that came up for a second? He's like, "Hey, what's up, my Negroes?" or something like that. A couple
Oh,
months ago, like a month
who is
ago.
he? Is that her ex-boyfriend or something?
No.
He
Oh,
trolling.
if I,
He said, yeah, ex
So you
boyfriend.
notice how it didn't stick?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know how y'all knew him.
I
No,
look
he's
at
just
the
he's like that kid in school that doesn't know how to play right, so he acts like a jerk. You
He
know,
sounds like a gay guy or a
he he
homosexual
he
that
does.
is that is frustrated because he can't find him a guy.
Kind of
You
little.
know what
Yeah, yeah. That's him. See, Supreme's
Wow.
great
yeah.
at reading people.
And he tries to
Yeah,
be an artist. Like,
there is a
Listen, a
science
lot of
behind that
lonely
though.
gay guys out there. That's the worst person on earth, brother. I lead a lonely gay guy.
and bored.
Oh
The
yeah.
bored ones, those are the ones that are trouble.
Yeah.
So if you
You
got
know,
something to
there
do, keep you
but
busy.
you have to study the science behind the language though. If you pay attention to what we consider offensive. Offensive is something that should not be spoken by anybody, and nobody usually speaks it because it's just that it's offensive. So let's look at the homosexual community for a minute. You never hear a homosexual call another homosexual the F word or what you say the F word. You
Do
don't
all the
hear
time.
that, huh?
It's a term of endearment, though, with them. It's just
Well,
like,
Well, but you don't see them. You don't see them throwing that around as just slinging it back and forth, especially when they get angry at one another. You don't
oh
hear
no, not when
homosexuals using that. They don't use the
Yeah,
F
yeah,
word, but
yeah.
you'll hear women call each other bitches all day, all night.
both ways.
But if a man
Let him
says
cook,
it,
Jeffrey. Hold on.
the first thing they'll do is say, "Well, it's offensive." Well, it's not offensive because if it was really an offensive word, then women wouldn't call each other that. Just like the
Exactly.
homosexual community, they don't call each other the F word when they're angry. Women shouldn't call each other bitches when they're angry. So why do they do it? It can't. That means that the term bitch really is not offensive if women use it
I
on
think
other
it's
women.
a
Just like the term nigger. The term nigger cannot be offensive to black people if they call each other that all day, every day.
well,
It's not offensive.
you can call me whatever you want. I'm not going to be offended, and I can prove it. Just call me whatever you want.
That'd be fine for you as an individual, but we're talking about on society as a whole. When you're out there,
Yeah, absolutely.
when you're talking to a woman, you call a woman a bitch. The first thing they'll be like, oh, "How dare you? You shouldn't talk like that to a woman." Why? You call another woman a bitch? Why? I can't say it because I'm a man. That don't make
Yeah,
sense to me. You
that is
know.
a
That's
double
the same
standard.
argument. Because she's a woman, she could say it. Just like because of, gay people calling each other just whatever they want to call each other. It's like, but if somebody else
Then
calls,
we're gonna have to remove the term offensive from those terms. Then they can't be offensive. Especially if they're being used by the same group that is being used to attack.
yeah, it's like
Mm.
having your cake and eating it too, right? It's like
You know.
you got to make a
Now
Oh,
choice.
we can
now
give
this
them
is
another name,
offensive.
man. We can give them another name. We can call them the peanut butter cup community.
There you go. That goes on. That'll go against. That'll go under community guidelines. Peanut
I
butter. They
don't
love
really
peanut
like
butter.
Reese's,
Peanut
so
butter cup.
that works for me.
Oh, cup. We had to say that part too.
Call them
Peanut
Reese's.
butter cup. Yeah. Now, is
It's just
this
like,
considered offensive?
yeah, I
Listen to
mean,
this.
black
Go
folks
ahead, brother.
spent how many years have black folks spent, they claim, during being enslaved, treated as animals? Come here, nigga. Pick that up, nigga. Go work, nigga. Wake up, nigga. Go to sleep, nigga. I mean, for hundreds of years. And then here we are, hundreds of years later. What's up, my nigga? Oh, nigga,
Yeah,
you
that's true.
tripping. I
Yeah.
mean, so is it really offensive?
I don't
Is it
think so.
really? Or is it just offensive because another race says it, a race that you don't like? So now
That's-
you want it, all of a sudden it's offensive because they use it.
That's true.
Well, they'll say like it's the A and the hard R is the difference. The one's
That's
for a
ridiculous.
term
Yeah, I
of
know.
endearment.
That's ridiculous. That's
I'm
ridiculous.
saying what they're trying to say.
I know. It's a ridiculous argument.
I'm gonna keep using the word. You know what I'm saying? Because if it applies, it's gonna fly, man. Because I'm not calling these niggas black, white, or any of them.
No, yeah, and I'm telling you this that the community guidelines is
Because we black. You know what I mean? Why we gonna include them on how we think? We're black. You know what I'm saying? Or she's really a white person. Why we include white or black niggas or ignorant people with intelligence?
Right.
Yeah. I think people with intelligence would use it like that. Is this someone who's ignorant? But now, like, YouTube, it said word on the street is they're gonna try to block that word too, pretty soon. You can't even say that. Yeah. But until then,
they're gonna lose a lot of people, especially niggas and bitches. What they call themselves, they're gonna keep calling themselves that. They're not gonna stop.
Maybe we'll word that we could use, all of us.
I love calling white people niggas. The look on their faces is priceless.
Can I
You're like, what the fuck he just say?
What did you call me? Like, you a nigger. That's what I called you. A fucking nigger.
I met something in Bakersfield. They were crazy.
They called you that?
No, they were white, but for all intents and purposes.
For all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm being polite here because NPC and I had a talk about it because, like, there was a little bit of a friction because I'm like, well, I don't see what the big deal is. You know that I don't mean it that way.
Yeah. No, I just got sick of hearing white niggas talk about nigga etiquette. That's what it was at the time. And it was like guilty by association. So a true bigot, not even racist, but a bigot was on that. Tommy was on there that time. Yeah.
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 He's trying to.
Yes. So this is Godhard Guardian said the Mode 3 sector about to be a ghost town. Yeah, if they do erase the word nigga for sure. That's all they say on that channel. But here, this is what Supreme and I were talking about when Supreme said that feminine guy with the feminine voice, Steven. Now tell me if you guys think this is racist or bigoted, what he's about to say. And this video is from our friend London Man, made this video about him. Let's see, let me show it to you.
Oh, I haven't seen this.
This is good. Oh, wait, first I gotta share it. There we go. There you go.
Hello, everyone here today. Hello, good to see you all. Thanks for tuning in.
Voice Supreme, you remember
You're listening to El Diablo Radio International. The greatest show in hell.
That's him.
Nobody does it right.
Nobody. Exactly.
Well, what's happening? Is it Welch's grape soda?
No, they won't drink that because it's.
I'm feeling his gay vibes already, man.
Sorry. Artificial only.
Listen to that voice.
Yeah, they only drink the artificial stuff. Sometimes they get so black that they get colored. They're almost purple. They're almost purple. They're almost purple.
Hello, baby.
The really dark ones.
Oh yeah.
Like the super.
This is him talking to his chat chat
right
buddy
here
on the stream.
So dark. They're just so dark.
Jesus. Yo, Ella, look how black he is. Ella.
Maybe they have purple nipples.
You serious, my brother?
Like maybe if they're so dark, their nipples are purple.
You serious, my brother?
Look at how black some of these people are. Can you believe this?
Yeah, so black.
Look
Would
at
that guy
this.
be considered
My
a bigot,
goodness.
Brother
Well,
Ali?
Crazy.
Instead of a racist?
Why are they so black?
I think he's frustrated. He can't get him a black guy.
A black guy, not even a girl.
Right. I mean, you have to associate some type of hatred or negativity with his comment. I mean, right now he's just expressing what he sees. I mean, that's what I hear.
Okay.
Like for real, like most of.
Do they have black people this black in England?
Yes, a few Africans.
Blacker than night?
Yeah, I've seen one or two. But yeah,
He tries to be
black.
slick about his bigotry,
you know,
though.
the immigrants that are coming in.
You are my brother. What are you doing?
I'm not that black. Hold on.
You are black like me.
I'll show you what he
We are
looks
black
like.
together. What kind of whatever? You are even
Look at
darker
this.
than me.
This is what he looks like. Wait.
Looking like when I leave face like rice.
You'd be like, what? This guy. He has no nerve to talk about anybody. There we go. Here he is.
Space.
That's him right there with puppets. He plays with puppets.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, he probably, you know, trying to be funny on the internet and everything, but I mean, it's for me, I don't see no need for nobody to get all emotionally moved about it, you know. I just write it off as being some dumb shit.
Well, here's the thing, Brother Ali. He consistently goes on people's channel and calls them like hard nigger, you know, and Negroes, and tries to troll them like constantly.
Oh, well, I mean, with that type of behavior is going on, well, then, yeah, he should be blocked or whatever, so that you don't have to deal with that nonsense. But I'm talking about just in reference to what, you know, we just heard right there.
Oh, okay, I see.
Oh, yeah.
The instance you're saying.
Yeah.
15 minutes. It took him like 10
It just sounds like some silly. It sounds like more silly shit to me.
Supreme, he's a pedophile. This is
Month, the notorious pedophile Sidney Cook was blasted into space to.
I think my friend was trying to make a joke. He called him a pedophile that he's going to get blasted into space. Who made this video?
Last month, the notorious pedophile Sidney Cook was blasted into space to spend the rest of his life aboard a one-man prison vessel, posing no further threat to children on Earth. But it was revealed that an 8-year-old boy was also placed on board by mistake and is now trapped alone in space with the monster. A spokesman said, "This is the one thing we didn't want to happen."
Bye. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
London, good job.
London man made that. Yeah. Because that guy goes around just trying to harass and play little games.
He's just a white boy that's got a fantasy of a black guy busting him in his ass. That's all.
Yeah.
He's probably frustrated. It's not none of us. That's all I can tell. I don't know who.
Take because
like
he's obsessed.
Just like I told him, I don't know what man. I used to tell a lot of people that. Didn't I, Brother Ali? I used to tell him what man chased another man. I was like, it's 11 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? Like, God damn.
Yeah.
It used to be people. Hey, me and Brother Ali be up. Sometimes we'll go like overtime. It'd be 11, 12 o'clock our time.
Yeah.
Ain't that right, Brother Ali?
That's
and it'd be
right,
grown ass men calling other men while we on a conversation or a subject matter, and just playing on the phone. They didn't have no questions. They didn't have nothing to add. Just grown ass men playing on the phone with other men.
Playing.
You remember that shit, Brother Ali?
Playing.
Grown ass man got time to play with other men on the phone at 12 a.m. in the morning. I mean, he could be cuddling with his girl. He could be watching some porn or doing something with himself. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how's this dude sitting here playing on the phone with men? Like, who does that shit?
Some gay niggas.
Same people last week. They were like, "We're just playing in the chat, Supreme."
Yeah, bro, and I told them that too. I said, "What grown man has time to do that?"
Yeah.
Now, if it was a woman, maybe she got a crush on somebody, and she like but a grown man playing with, that's how you know the guy's something's wrong with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. But it used to get me. I like how you used to call people that would hang on the line and not talk. You call them cheerleaders. You would say,
All
you
the
say, I don't want no
cheerleaders.
cheerleader. You say if she's a woman, okay, we can understand that in the beginning if you want to be
Yeah,
a
yeah,
cheerleader. But these dudes that just don't add to anything.
yeah. We used to kick them out.
Yeah,
Cheerleading.
cheerleading. That's what he used to say. Supreme.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so funny. Have you
yeah.
seen
Oh,
the band Thought Squad? They're friggin' funny.
No.
Is one black girl and one white girl is Sophie Hunter. She's really good too.
Mm.
They're rapping. It's funny. It's a song called "Hose Depressed."
Oh,
Oh, shit.
It's
okay.
friggin' funny. They're cheerleaders.
Nah, yeah, I see that. But he's talking about cheerleaders. How would you explain a cheerleader, Supreme, Brother Supreme?
Yeah, not
well,
How you
boy.
it's
refer to it?
been in there when we would ask them to participate or have a question or call in or add on or something. Just part. If you claim you're enjoying the subject matter and we're trying to enhance the class or the subject matter by getting participants to ask questions, and you're so scared and timid, you're in the chat, what I mean, just cheerleading, you won't call in, that's a cheerleader. I mean, or you don't just say nothing, but you listening. We're on 2 hours, you're sitting there listening to us. You've been listening for 2 hours, and we ask people to call in, and you're too timid to call in, but you've been listening to us for 2 hours. Come on, man.
Well, maybe they had bad experiences and they want to be, like they want to get some knowledge before they come in and speak with you because they're a little intimidated. You guys are like pretty dope, so.
Well, that
Well,
might be
yeah,
the
but
case for some of them, but
mm,
I had regular listeners, that people was doing
okay.
this, people was coming in there playing on a regular basis, people that were just sitting in the chat or calling in on unknown numbers. This was almost on a daily basis.
Daily,
Yeah.
daily.
Yeah, I don't have that problem. I'll sit in the chat and talk, but I'll
Yeah,
come
he's
on and
calling in with a block number, but unknown
Yeah.
call.
that's
Mm.
crazy.
Hey, to get it back on, let's get it back on track to this. What must it be done now, and for the human being and the future of righteousness? And Brother Supreme, Brother Ali, because I remember Supreme used to teach about, like, when we talked about Islam, how the Muslim had to pray like 5 times a day to remind himself not to be unrighteous, right? With that said, uh are humans, are they naturally good, or it's
Are they
that's my
naturally
question.
good?
Oh no, yeah, are humans naturally good, or do they need rules to stay that way?
Uh, we have a first nature and a second nature. We have two natures, but it's a choice. Human beings at the current time, they have a choice to do negative or positive, to be right or wrong, to be truthful or to love falsehood. Red pill, blue pill. It's a choice. Some of us chose the red pill and said fuck the blue pill. Although the point is, they're always given a choice. You either want red or blue, truth or falsehood, life or death. So that's every day out here. There's people dying because of their choices. They did the wrong things and got themselves caught up, or um, didn't cut off the loose ends, and things happen.
Right.
But it's because their
Yeah.
choices, whatever led them to whatever situation if they're incarcerated or whatever situation they were led to, it was based on their choices.
Hmm. Yeah. And this is why mathematics and science is so important, right?
It is.
Choices.
It
Yeah.
is. Because logic and reason has to be based on facts. And it's not that a woman ain't capable of some of that. She'll be more lackadaisical. You know what I mean? She might, some women, you know, they might know certain things is in error, and if they feel weak to do something, or they feel um you know, just feel like transgressing, you know, someone just feel like a little mischievous, you know. Um but a real man, for a woman to stand on, you know, he gonna keep that bus gonna fly straight. You know what I mean? That's the type of mate a woman needs. And that's why naturally a woman, when you get in the car, she naturally wants the passenger seat. If you got a real natural woman that has any femininity in her, she's gonna say, "You drive," even if it ain't her car. You know, I drove women's cars that were, you know, relationships or whatever with me. I drove their car. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't want to drive even their own car, not with me in their presence. You know, when you have a real man, you naturally take so it. When you are a real man handling your business, you naturally put the woman in a feminine state. She feels safe. In other words, it's all about making her feel safe.
My dad made me take auto shop so I could work on a car before I could learn how to drive.
Right. and feeling safe, guys, in case y'all get this misconstrued, feeling safe is not not just your muscle. I mean, of course, you want to be able to protect yourself, period, and anybody else. Although it ain't how big your muscles is, or your little gun, or you know, all these misconstrued lack of manhood things that these guys are doing out here, you know, and thinking that they can shoot somebody and they're tough guy and all that stuff. That's not what makes you that. What makes
No.
you that is when you have the confidence and the leadership to say what you mean, do what you're gonna say you're gonna do. And regardless if she fusses about it or she tries to uh get you off of it, you stay on that path, you know, and that allows her to know that I have a leader that even I can't make him, you know, so I feel safe with this guy. That's why a lot of your ladies like dickheads, because the dickhead makes her feel safe because he's gonna do what the fuck he wants to do, regardless. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's just
That's the
not
security.
better.
Because if you're such a nice guy and you're doing everything she wants, she feels okay. I could take over this anytime I want because this guy's a big ass cupcake for me. She don't want a fluff cake. She wants to be the fluff cake.
Yeah, and
So
see,
don't.
those guys, the punks, you know, they that have something to prove. They're really just dangerous. They're stupid and dangerous, and they're not safe. They might seem safe, but they're not.
Right. But the troubled guy, she don't really want him. How do I explain this? It's it's how a woman feels in the masculine. She don't want, of course, she don't want a guy really beating her ass or doing some stupid stuff. She really don't want all that. What she wants is a guy that's going to say what he means and mean what you say. You could be that civilly. You don't have to be a dickhead or ass, but she can only find that from him because you little fluff cakes out there with your, you know, your big jobs and all these little these little curtains you guys got around y'all. Cause I call them curtains. You know, you sitting there trying to hide your real self behind your car, behind your job, behind your clothes, or whatever
That's the
else
Wizard of
that is.
Oz, Supreme.
Yeah,
Wizard
behind the
of
curtain.
Oz.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the man behind the curtain.
The man behind the curtain.
Yeah, take off your mask, guys.
Mhm.
Show us what
What
you
you want to know who she's dealing with? You know, y'all hiding behind all this stuff.
you like that. I was talking to guys in the audience that are not talking.
I know
Has
they're
a guy ever
watching the
tried to buy you
brochures.
before, ma'am? Has he ever tried to like
Oh,
wine and dine you and spend all this
oh
money, or try to like buy you almost? I feel like.
yeah, that never really did it for me. I mean, I
Yeah.
used to be a dancer, and it's like money is money, you know. It's like I don't I never made that much money dancing either, but it's because it's not a priority for me. I got plenty of abundance.
Well, how does guys like that make you feel when he's sitting there, you know,
Like I'm an
throwing his
object.
wallet around?
Like I'm a possession and object, and it doesn't make me feel good.
Yeah, see, you hear that? See, they don't know that. They think that
Yeah, I know.
even
I'm
if
gonna be
they're
a
buying you everything you want, even if they say, okay, I'll take you shopping, I'll buy you anything you want, even that.
I wouldn't. No, I'd be like, "What do you want back? What are you angling for that you're not asking?"
Exactly.
Yes.
So she rather you be you, and then if she choose to give it to you, then but if you gotta like buy it, you know what I'm saying? It's like, geez.
Well, and it goes both ways too. My guy, like, he's like brought me food before whenever I'm not
Yeah.
hungry. And I said, thank you, but I'm not eating it right now. And he got mad. And I was like, what are you trying to get me fat or what? Because, like, I'm just not hungry right now. I'll eat it later. I love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
He got you fat. Wait a minute, wait. What'd you say?
No,
He
I
got
said,
you.
I think he was trying to get me fat because he's bringing me home food all the time. He eats a lot, and I don't eat as much as he does.
Oh, okay.
We
Well,
call
maybe
those
you need to cook.
feeders.
Yeah, I do. I'm not I don't cook dinner every day.
Oh,
What
But
did you
hell.
say, Brother Ali?
I
Oh,
told
but
my
he cook.
I told my girl that she's the fourth most important thing in my life.
That's
And
real. That's keeping it
you
real.
know,
What's the
and
other
I'm gonna
three,
say
brother?
and
second.
my girl was like the fourth, and she was like, well, and I was like, yeah, I was like, first comes myself, then comes
Yep.
my mission in life, then
Yes,
comes
sir.
my baby, my children, and my grandbabies, and then
Um,
comes you, baby.
Mm.
And then she's like, I kind of consider you, first in my life because, I mean, you're there for me and you take care of me and, and I mean, you do more for me than my family and stuff does. So, I mean, you're kind of number one in my life. And I'm like, oh, that's nice, baby, but you're still fourth. Shit,
right.
that shit don't
And
change. I'm
y'all
sorry.
hear that? That's a real.
yeah,
That's a real man. A woman's gonna find. She gonna be wet all day from a man like that speaking like that because he spoke with conviction, definite. He knew what he wanted. A woman can only gravitate to that. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't have to worry about being number one. Matter of fact, she had to compete with number three.
Hell yeah.
So you giving a woman security, God. You know what I'm saying?
Shit, she better be careful because I love my plants in my house too. So she better be careful. That number four spot might be up for grabs.
Oh
Mm.
man, she gonna be working hard for it. See, for it.
he like
What do you
always.
guys think about? What do you guys think about some of these red pill teachers? So-called teachers. They say you should put your wife or partner ahead of your children. It should be yourself, wife, children, rather than what Brother Ali said: yourself, children, wife.
Well, my dynamic is a little different over here. I mean, I was married years ago. I already did the married and the wife and the
Oh
babies
yeah, that's
game.
right.
I've already
Yeah.
played them. I've already played that hand out. So, and where I'm at in my life now, you know what I'm saying, is it's me, and I'm not married to anyone, like that.
Yeah.
So, I have women that I date, and that are close to me. But once again, they have to understand. Listen, you play a position in my life. I can't allow you to think that you can just step in now and consume or take over, what has already been in place and has already been working just fine for me. Like I
Yeah.
said, I'm always first. I'm first and foremost. Without me, there is nothing. There is no reality. So
Right.
I got to be first, and then and who I am and what I do. That's more important to me that's just as important to me as me. So that's number two. And then my offspring and my children and my grandbabies. Yeah, they're very important. They mean a lot to me. Hell yeah, that's number three.
Mm.
So that, I mean, after that, yeah, I got a little thing. That's where I got time and space for a female, on that level. But but that
Except the
dynamic
plants are
works
moving
for
up,
me. That's how I'm
maybe.
able to keep things in order in my life. If I mess that order up, then some need is not going to get met. And that includes the woman's need too. You know, just because I say she's fourth doesn't mean her needs aren't getting met. Her needs are
Right.
being met like a motherfucker because she lives with me.
Right. And it's understandable because yourself, your mission, that's your you know, and your family before her. I mean, it's only right for her to accept that too. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the fuck? You gonna put something? She gonna come before you? That's a no. Or
Right.
before those that came before her, which is your children, you know, and grandbabies.
Exactly. You know, shit. I don't put my children before my mission. You know, because I'm grounded there too. I
Right.
know not to let my children, man, cross over into that area and try to throw me off my path with some of their nonsense, because that shit can happen too. So I'm on guard for that too. That's why they at number 3.
Right. That's why brother manifestation to play a little bit about polar, man.
Oh my God.
What's that?
Brother Ali knows.
we gotta we gotta blast polar a little bit on here.
Oh, you was talking about some of his broadcasts where he interviewed a tranny.
And it's not like nothing personal we got
Oh.
against polar like that. It's just when you play
Yes.
polar. I always thought that was a fun. I'm like, what's this dude walking around with polar? I just, I was like, okay, polar. I mean, I never like when I shared with him that, he was supreme in the UK. I wasn't about to say supreme polar bear and shit. You know what I'm saying? That never said well. I just said let him know that he had more knowledge than a lot of them cats in the UK, which a lot of them didn't have access to what we was giving out. You know what I'm saying? He did.
Right.
So
Yeah,
he had a responsibility to put the UK on the map over there with this new knowledge, man. The absolute math and science.
I like
They
it.
didn't, huh?
I like that. That's great. I'm glad you guys have started getting out there.
Oh.
And see, that's your mission, right? Is like
Yeah,
that's what
but
you guys are doing.
that's our mission, but we need to stay on point. Just like me, I mean, I've wavered throughout the years, but I'm back on my wadeen, as they say. I'm back on my purpose. But I don't know, Brother Ali and Supreme. What did you think about those type of broadcasts? Because he's probably listening. He listens to the replay sometimes. What would you tell him about that?
Who?
I'll just say, man,
Brother Poel from the UK.
I'll just let him know, man. This is when you had access to math and science. This is for him. Although, and I probably should have stepped to you and asked you, but I'm not. With being with me, man, is being with a free God. Like the greatest thing that you can give a person is their freedom. That's one of the greatest gifts that we can have as beings is freedom. So why would I take that from anybody? So I never not allowed you to have the freedom to listen to Nikki Love and all these assholes talking about the black woman is God and all that bullshit. I knew you were listening to that, although I thought maybe, well, I would say I was more like hoping maybe you were just, weighing out different, because this is the problem with a lot of these UK guys. That's why I try to tell some of them, hey, y'all don't know what the fuck's going on. They almost like kind of be seeking around. They be like listening to different niggas over here trying to figure out what's going on over here. You know what I'm saying? And they're never going to find that out. So he figured he could find out about what's going on here in America by listening to different niggas. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what's happening over here.
Supreme, what was that other brother's name? The one that the other nigga, man, that from the UK that
Poverty.
Poverty. That was Poverty.
Poverty Supreme. Yeah.
What the hell happened to him? I think he set up the thing with us and Fair Clowns boys. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Poverty went off
last
the
time
deep
I heard
end
he
too,
wanted to
man.
do a debate league. He wanted to do a debate league with the side niggas. Sinetta.
Oh, so he was into debating. Okay. Well, I was like,
yeah.
He went with
I haven't heard
Sinetta?
about from years. Yeah. But
He's
I
over
do
with
spoke to
Sinetta?
Poel though. He tried to that was years ago. Probably
okay.
9 years ago, 10 years ago, last time I talked to him.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of them cats, man. I don't know, UK, they just misconstrue. They don't know what the fuck's going on over here. They want to know though. They want to be the original, the black man of America so badly, but they listen. There's a lot of lost niggas over here, man. You know, especially talking about the woman is God and all this stupid ass stuff they saying over here. You know, what he said, the man's anus is his vagina.
To fruity.
You remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, my
That was
Natural
Tahuti.
Tahuti.
Tahuti,
Yeah.
fruity. Talking about the
Yeah, Zephyr,
man's
that's
anus
crazy,
was
Zephyr.
his vagina and all this weird shit. You know,
Hey, NPC, have you guys
Huh?
been over to Nidish's? Because I bet you, like, that's another place where you could maybe
No,
he knows a lot of people.
no,
You
I
know,
know. I mean, I met him like a week ago, I think.
I like
He's from
him. He's cool.
yeah.
He's
I mean,
real
you
cool, and
could
his
say,
audience
yeah.
is like
maybe
I'm
Cornell
telling
was
you.
listening to
minded.
Ty Fruity or something. I don't know. A lot of these
Yeah,
guys, they
because
think they wise and all that, man, but they not wise. Ty Fruity, come on.
Me and Supreme was hated in a lot of those arenas. Trust me, man. They ain't like me and Supreme at all, man. At all.
And Brother
I can understand that.
Manifestation got Ty Fruity fucked up.
Oh
That was
shit.
all on you, brother.
I mean, they're just spreading the good news.
He typed me, he DM'd me talking about or typed on my page talking about why did I'm so disrespectful with his name.
Well, a week later, he was in jail.
Yeah. Coming at me like
Serious. Federal. Yeah.
Oh, whenever the karma like lets you watch, that's the best.
And not only that, Zephyr, while he was in prison, he keistered heroin in his rectum.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
In
yeah.
his vagina, as we can say. Male
his
vagina.
boy
His love.
pussy.
In his
Yeah.
mangina.
His vagina, yeah. And he got more charges. Yeah.
I laugh at the but he said he typed did you all see that when he typed on there when he said that?
I remember that.
Yeah, I
said
remember briefly now.
he said, why are you being so disrespectful to my name? No, he said I disrespect his
tell
name.
by what you smell.
Because I said
All I did was send him the link to your broadcast about him. That's all I did.
Of course he saw natural Thai fruity.
Yeah, natural Tahuti. Yeah, you have been going in on them real hard, man. Him and a couple of the other ones, but I guess he had finally got back to him, man, and I guess he had flipped, man, and next thing
Yeah,
you know,
I guess that's what he was mad about because I said natural Thai fruity. That's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Man, a man is fruity talking like that, man. What
Male
else?
vagina.
What else can we call him?
I think you got to be good with people calling you names if you're going to call people names. You know, it's like if you're not secure enough to be able to take it, you shouldn't be dishing it out. I think people that get all butthurt whenever you start calling them names, it's just because.
No, we're not calling him name. Hold on, we're not calling nobody a name
He was
here.
offended by you saying something about his name. Is what?
Yeah, I didn't. I'm not. That see, that's what people. That's where he lost. I wasn't calling him. Hold on, I wasn't calling him a name like that. See, people think because I'm saying Sister Panic or Empress Pharaoh and whatever. These guys have. I'm letting them know they have a Louisa or
a hamburger Hemmett.
You're just testing them. That's what I do with Princess Stevie.
I'm not calling them names. I'm calling out what these people really are, man. I mean, how this dude, like you said, Brother Ali, you said a dude on here calling himself a master teacher with 4 necks and shit.
With no neck. No, with no neck.
Oh, that's what Steven calls bangs.
He's not.
You gotta reflect. Man, I'm looking greater than I ever looked, man. I'm at a solid 220 and I let off like 50 plus pounds, you know what I mean? Just on a certain
a lot of weight.
You weigh 100 pounds more than me? What?
But everything is solid. I'm about to get it toned up, you know what I mean? Although I'm just saying, man, if I was going around 500 pounds talking about I'm the supreme creator and you know, what motherfucker gonna pay attention to me? Not that I'm doing it. I'm doing that because I'm God. I got the confidence on how I want my body, regardless of what age it is. And this is that a physical. I'm in a physical body of 50 years, a half a century body. I'm in. You know what I'm
I know.
saying? I'm doing
I'm
this with.
47 and I feel that too, you know? It's like I can't believe I don't feel old yet.
But you sound a lot younger. You 47?
Yeah, it's magic. Yeah, I'm the same age as Manifestation. Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
You
We're both
47
Both
manifestation?
47. Yes, sir.
I thought you was still.
Yeah. Huh? You thought it was 50?
I thought you was like still in your late 30s or something, like 39 or something.
No,
Yup.
47,
Young
man.
snakes.
This is tonight is
So we're the
is
40 and 50s club, the 40s and 50s. You know what I mean?
right. Mm-hmm. Tonight is the New Year's Eve of the lunar New Year of the year of the snake is starting tomorrow, which is Zephyr and I's year.
Yep.
For the
Snake?
lunar calendar. Yeah.
Fire
We're
snake.
going from dragon to snake. Yeah.
Tomorrow, you said that starts tomorrow?
It starts tonight. Tonight's the New Year's Eve, and then
Really?
tomorrow will be the first day of the.
Okay, now
year of the
what's
snake.
what is the somebody care to read what, because those things are symbolic now. I'm not saying it's all absolute, although even if there's a minus or a zero in it, you got to count the zero in math. If you have 1 plus 0 plus 3 plus 4, you have to add, even if it's a zero in there.
Yeah.
It's part of the equation. So
Yeah.
what
Part of the
what does
equation.
that represent? Or if someone could read, what are we stepping into according to them?
Well, it's going to be a year for the snakes are seen as mysterious and smart and wise, and also it's synonymous with talking. So a lot of good conversations should happen, be on Earth, right? And
renewal, right?
renewal, yeah.
Shed their
They
skin.
shed. Mm-hmm.
Make everything
Yeah.
fresh.
Mm-hmm. And also,
I can see
snakes are
that.
very
I can see that.
intuitive. So it's going to be your intuitions are probably going to for those of us who are not that familiar with it, using your intuition, that's going to be more prominent in your life than it has been in years. A year of strategic, like using strategy. The leader of China, Xi Jinping, he's a year of the snake, and he's all about strategy. You know, and
Yeah, we
so
could have Renaissance coming up, I think.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
factors coming on right now. I've got the
Yeah.
Vegas thing. And thank you so much for saying that I should be there, because I think that really helped, dude. And I'm so grateful.
Yeah, you should have fun with that trip. It should be great.
Yeah, it's
You
gonna
got to
be
tell
fun.
us
I'm
about it
gonna
when you
read
get
the rest
back.
of those cards.
Mm-hmm. Now, that should be dope. Now, in China, Mandarin, they call a snake, the way it's translated is not snake, it's dragon without wings,
Yeah,
right?
little
Because so we're going from the dragon, which is like very masterful and dynamic, the year we just had, which was a very powerful year, to a more kind of like behind the scenes, using, like I said, your intuition. It's going to be big this year, right? So
I feel it.
that's what I see about this year. It's already happening.
It is. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. I've been waiting for a long time for it. And this is my Jupiter return this year too.
That's big abundance.
Or
Yeah.
the next couple months.
Yeah.
My fourth one.
Jupiter in Cancer.
Oh, y'all some astrology.
Yeah.
I have Jupiter.
Yeah. But this year is going to be dynamic. I mean, every year is dynamic for the gods, right?
It used to, astrology used to be very, basically very accurate, man. We used to you could almost predict not only the future of certain people, you could, practically predict your child's life almost. Just, we were that accurate with astrology. And, these, really they're prophecies, really, or predictions. Although now it's so much theology and these devils got a hold of anything they get a hold of, they always are gonna, dilute it. Like
Yeah.
like water, the air. The air is perfect the way it is. They always have to put their pollution into it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
They don't making us stronger though.
huh?
They don't know they're making us stronger by poisoning us a little bit. You know, that's how that
How's that making you stronger?
because your immune system kicks in to compensate because you're an adaptable being, right?
Well, that's true. But if you're living in that environment 24/7, what is that seems like you wouldn't have any sicknesses at all if your immune system's
Yeah.
always going to kick in.
Yeah, well, and I think we've been in it long enough that those of us that are still here are pretty adaptable.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some
It's
truth to that.
and speaking of that, let me just add
I'm a,
this real quick about the year of
but
the snake. That the enemy of the year of the snake is the pig, because each sign has an enemy, we could say. So
pig.
definitely, I mean, I think most of us on this line, at least I know us three, we don't eat pork, right? So definitely be careful with that stuff if y'all are still on eating the pork, because that's an enemy of the year of the snake. It doesn't resonate with health, especially this year. This
I
will
could
let you
swear
know
off
about that.
for a year.
Yeah, it'd probably be smart, man.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
about that yesterday. Laying
yeah,
low on the
yeah,
pigs, and I don't like greed either. You know, pigs and their appetites, they need to
yeah,
go.
yeah. The greedy mentality is gonna be. We're gonna spot it right away.
And
Yeah,
it's gonna
yeah.
be gone. Down with the
Well,
Mm.
Patriot.
only thing interesting is that a snake could never eat a pig. You know what I mean? A pig can withstand poison, like the most poisonous snake couldn't poison a pig. They can kill anything else except a pig like that through their venom or poison. You can't poison a pig. The pig is concentrated poison.
Yeah,
It's not
that's
just
why we're not
poison,
supposed
it's
to eat it.
concentrated
Yeah,
poison.
I don't
Yeah.
think there's any boars out there
But
anymore.
I guess this person here on the phone is going to say eating pig is cool because it's going to make you stronger while people is dying before they're 70 years old.
I don't think
What
so.
do you think about pork, man?
I like bacon. That's about the only pork that I eat, and I can swear off that.
I
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
But they say pork is medicinal for Caucasian, isn't that according to teachings and things?
I don't
It's
know.
medicinal.
I
Yeah,
think
I've
it's
heard that.
because like
Like
lots of people
medicine.
didn't know how to cook it properly, and it
Okay.
does cause problems if you
And you
don't.
go that's how some people have died from tapeworms and shit. They talking about we cooked it.
It's called
Yeah,
trichinosis. Trichinosis. The
we also
worms.
had a period where people were getting themselves tapeworms to make themselves skinnier.
Those
So
worms are so microscopic, man. You can't. If you're talking about pure poison. Do you know how much? If you
yeah,
burn the most visible worms from a pig, you know those worms convert into the more compound microscopic worms.
yeah,
You
you
talking
got to
about
be
the,
careful
They
talking
what
about
just
you're.
the
go
he's
micro.
talking
You
about the
can't.
trichina worm.
Yep,
What's that?
Yeah.
The
I know.
trichina worm.
I killed
Yeah.
my parasites.
She said you can cook it a certain way.
No, you can't kill it by cooking.
How
Well, you
can
could black cohosh and diatomaceous earth kills them, though.
That's like you saying you
Yeah.
can convert poison back from being not being poison again.
Well, there's antivenoms. People have done it. I mean,
All I'm
that's
saying is
science.
stay away from the pork, especially
Yeah,
this year.
I will take
Whatever
that
helps.
recommendation, and I think
Yeah.
that's smart,
Mm.
just for the energetic, even.
Now you see how the female she can just she just give me a rebellious nature. That means that we never detour from us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh
And all
shit.
she can do is respect that and accept that.
Yeah.
I always give respect where it's due.
Yeah. Because what you
And
said,
grace
bro?
and gratefulness too,
I was gonna.
where it's
Yeah.
due.
You said
Right. I was
what you
gonna
say?
say that. I was gonna just say the future of righteousness, because we're coming up about at a 2.5 hours. So I want to get on that before we close it out.
Well, the future of it, you're listening to it on this phone, man.
Yeah.
The future of it is very bright. Um, they said we're in the we're in the age of information. Although,
Okay.
if we are in the age of information, then I'm that age, I'm that champ. They must have been seeing this evolution, that we've been evolving in. And because I'm sharing with you all, it's coming like it's never came before, man. We are first healing this planet through truth and right. Well, righteousness is truth, and truth is righteousness. They go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. You can't have righteousness without the truth, and you can be truthful and not be righteous. So they're one of the same.
That's right. Absolutely.
Although we're in great hands. Just the brothers on this panel, that what we're about, and then I'm able to touch people now. I'm doing things. Not that I'm gonna be doing things. I'm gonna be doing things also that I'm already doing now. Although, like the brother said, every teacher before that or before me, or even now, so called, ask you for money or they need your money. I don't need your money. I'm here to bring you money. So, um, that's a change right there. And at one time, these same people or leaders or whatnot, they felt they needed to have a congregation to teach and to spread the truth, the knowledge, whatever. We're in the last battle as it predict that it would be in the air. And these airwaves, we have utilized and transformated these airwaves. How me and these brothers have combined and empowered through the airwaves. We never physically seen or shook each other's hand or embraced each other. Although through this air or the airwaves is where this battle is taking place of truth and falsehood, righteousness and unrighteousness. So I don't need that. I don't need a congregation. I could put something out there like I'm putting out there on posts on my shirt, things that was set in your mind you couldn't get away. There's people. I got people can't sleep right now because when I don't share, brother Ali. You think they ain't forgot who I am, huh? What'd you say?
I said that's funny.
And I said, I love it. It's great.
We just shared one brother called us up talking about he was upset with us. And I got niggas that's mad with me too in person. Although you can't do nothing. And whatever if you couldn't, matter of fact, you can't even have the thought. I won't even allow you to entertain the thought that you're going to do something. Because if the more you think about that, the more I'm going to destroy you. And the great teacher had this same power and protection, and we do because we're on the side of righteousness and truth. We as gods, we constructed our universe to serve right, not your dumb black ass or your dumb white ass.
Hmm. I agree with you 100%. And my surname, my family name is Shield, and so like, yeah, I feel it.
Name me a god that could construct you to not even think a thought about coming against him before you present your own doom. Then you come tell me, if your God can do that, come bring his ass to me. I'll make him disappear.
Yeah, they're gonna be hiding from you.
I'm serious. I live this every day. Yeah, there's people that know me. I'm not a person hiding on the internet. People know me. They know where to find me. And there's people that know that see me every day as who I am right now, me.
Yeah, I'm about to take this trip and meet a bunch of people too. It's gonna be friggin' awesome.
Oh, we're not talking. We talk about
Yeah,
that.
let's keep it. Let's keep it
Oh,
on.
right.
That's
I'm just
great. That's great for sharing. Appreciate it. But let's keep it on. What you know,
I'm just
the
feeling it
topic.
my own way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you see my new post, brother? I got up there for everybody. I was kind of
On Facebook.
contemplating on presenting that because, you know, and I knew this too. That's why most niggas out there propagating my work, knowingly or unknowingly, because they think they gonna take an idea and go and run away with it like they present the shit. So I know I had something planned for niggas. You know what I mean? So niggas out there serving my mind, whether they know it or unknowingly. They think they have a little information and running. Well, we all niggas, we not niggas are. We know y'all get a little enough knowledge to destroy yourself and think y'all got something. You don't. A nigga don't want the entire pie, Brother Ali. A nigga is still a slice of pie. You know what I mean? He ain't content with fucking a whole pie.
Okay, just enough
Meaning,
knowledge to destroy himself, huh?
gives him knowledge to destroy himself. There's a lot of niggas. You know, the white boys robbing banks. You niggas is robbing convenience stores and shit, shooting Chinese and Arabs for $500. You know what I mean? That's a slice of pie there. I'm talking about you niggas be satisfied with nothing. We want a real God. We want it all. We want this entire planet. Fuck $500. Matter of fact, fuck money. We'll create our own source of a monetary system, which would be what you know, not what you got. It'd be based on knowledge.
amen to that.
We got to
That's the
guess.
future
What's
financial system. Go ahead.
what we got to guess? What's going on, Rocky Shepherd? How's it
Hey,
going,
what's
man?
going on? What's happening?
Yeah, good to have you.
Hi, Rocky.
Yeah.
Hey,
I remember.
what's
I remember Rocky, as Brother Supreme and Ali. I think you said Rocky. You had an earlier broadcast. You said you had 7 children, or something like that, or what was it?
Well, I got, let me see, one that I adopted. So I got 8. I got 8 altogether. One's adopted, and then with the
How do we
adopted,
change subject? What are we talking about?
No, I'm just trying to we brought the guest on. I'm trying to see if you remember.
I mean, does he have
who
a
he is, 'cause
question? I
he's
thought we were
been
going
in
to stay on the
he's been in
subject
the
of
chat a
righteousness.
lot. Yeah.
I know, but I thought we were going to stay on subject. I was just sharing something very important, man.
when you
Rocky, do you have a question about righteousness or what the topic?
Well, he asked if any God can do something, and I didn't hear what he said. He's asking if my God can do what?
No, he's asking if you have a question pertaining to the topic. That's not why you came up on the panel.
Okay, yeah.
Or wanted to share something.
Well, I said, what must be done now for the human beings? The future of righteousness, bro. Ali and Supreme Creator. Okay. What's the future of righteousness?
That's your question? Okay.
No, that's a deep question. That's your question, right? I'm just thinking about it. I put in chat. I was the only one in chat, so I thought I'd come up because I put my answer in chat already. Okay. My original answer was maybe we need a renaissance.
Oh yeah, I remember you said that.
Or maybe we need a reformation.
That's right. I remember reading that. What do you think about that, Brother Supreme? The future of righteousness is we need a renaissance or a reformation.
Well, you got some Renaissance men on here. We're the black sheeps. You know, people don't accept us. They're going left. We're staying on right. So the future is this on the panel. I mean, and the main one is you listening to. I eat, sleep, drink, and wake up for the truth. So, how much more of a person can you think of like that?
I heard we
If
are going
if I don't have the truth, I don't give a fuck about waking up tomorrow. That's how much of a love for truth that's on this phone.
Yeah, I love the truth.
Really, would you not want to wake up if it wasn't available?
If the truth wasn't available, would I want to wake up?
Yeah. You got to think about it. Wow. I don't have to think about it.
Can I answer? I got an answer. I'd be like, yes, I'm gonna get up and find it.
You're gonna find it. No, we ain't talking about finding it. We're talking about if it didn't exist at all, would you want to exist where truth does not exist?
I don't think that's even possible that it doesn't exist.
Well,
it's not possible that it doesn't exist. That's true. Although to that person, it may not exist. It sure to fucking exists to a lot of people that were in bondage or enslaved. You know, they were being told lies every day. They were being told their God wants them to slave and to be beat and turn their cheek and bend over and everything else. So of course they weren't giving the truth. They were giving lies and falsehood. But the real people that didn't give a fuck, the people that rebelled, you know, the Nat Turners, the people that jumped, they say, in the ocean, rather than be a slave, or committed, they had to put in the Bible, don't commit suicide or you go to hell, because the slaves that rather commit suicide or die, like the millions of Indians rather,
where does it say that?
they're the ones that, like myself, that rather not be here rather than to live in falsehood. What's that?
I never read that verse. One that says
If that's not in there, I know they used to tell them that with the Bible. They say, well, God says if you kill yourself, you won't go to heaven.
No, that's not true. That's false.
That's what I'm not talking about. That's true, and I'm saying slaves were told that they had to outlaw. They weren't permitted to commit suicide. Do you understand that?
Oh, okay.
That was frowned upon. That was like they lost money.
It's still frowned upon. It's still frowned upon, but it's not salvation.
He said it's still frowned upon. You mean it is current day?
Yeah, people are doing it slowly all the time though, and everybody's fine with it.
Well, give me an example. You can say that's more like murder. We're more like being murdered by our food system. It's not really suicidal. It's more like murder.
I don't know, people on drugs and stuff. They're
those
doing
guys,
it too. It's coke.
They're trying to escape reality because reality sucks. So they smoke weed or do drugs or get drunk.
I get you guys might have been the only ones not on here that believe me, I don't know where everybody is because we're really talking about something here. I don't know what the hell everybody else could be talking about that's so great. Maybe they're watching the game, or I guess that's more important, or watching, you know, hoochies, or strolling on social media, doing watching reality shows. I don't see what's greater than this knowledge we're putting out. I really don't.
Well, maybe they'll catch up and they'll be here to watch it later.
Well, they won't get a chance because this is probably going to be the last broadcast on this NPC channel. Because other than Rocky and Zephyr, who've actually been in the very active in the chat the last couple of months, and I appreciate that, no one else has done that consistency or whatever. So I'm probably just going to try to my other channel, this broadcast, because obviously most people are doing whatever the fuck, which is, you know, they had their chance. I'm going to say.
You gonna leave it up?
Try somewhere else. Yeah, I'll leave it up for sure. But I'm saying we're gonna start using my other channel.
Cool.
for these broadcasts, and also go on Rumble as well.
What's your
Yeah, I
other
think
channel?
that's what we should be doing. Backing up.
Test Stream 88. I think you're here. I'll put it in the chat. But with that said, though, there should be more people here, but there isn't. But it's their loss, you know. So.
Well, we appreciate you, 100%.
Yeah. Well, thank you to Supreme and Ali, man, for putting it out there.
I like a lot of your content. Not too many people seem to be interested in. I don't know.
Hey.
The higher realms.
Yeah.
So brothers, I'm still thinking about, man, you getting Ty Fruity locked up.
Oh, get him locked up. You put it on me, huh? Oh God.
That's a
me, man.
Hey, that's an example right there to let the person know, a wise person know the type of power that I am. A guy just was trying to come at me like he was going to have a match here, and he was no match because he was already. He knew that I knew he was a foul ass dude, and that he already was planning that week to traffic some drugs in his asshole. So he knew I knew. I didn't tell him to put drugs in his ass like a piñata.
Yeah. Oh, nasty. Yeah.
For real.
I don't need to hear about that again, gentlemen.
That's what happened.
I mean, yeah, this guy tried to come at
It
us.
was all on the news. They put it on. I played the video on YouTube.
Ew.
Somebody actually died from his drugs.
Yeah, he got a murder charge too. I exposed that. They if you sneak drugs in or somebody or weapons or something, they can prove somebody died from your hands, then you get a part of their murder charge or accessory at least.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing with bad people. If you just like don't pay them any attention and just distance yourself from them, they take care of themselves.
Oh yeah.
There's accessory. Isn't there accessory before the fact and accessory after the fact? Like if you try to help conceal a murder, you're also a that's a accessory after the fact.
Right.
Yeah, you're an accessory. That means that you aided.
There's
I think they can be abetting and aiding too, if you're helping somebody.
Yeah, it could be conspiracy too if you.
I told
you, keep it 100 Supreme, literally by making a broadcast with that guy's name on it and talking about exposing him. He actually gave him a chance so he can learn from his mistakes, but he doubled down. That guy to Fruity doubled down, right? And he got his just dessert.
He chose his male gina, man. You know what I'm saying?
They get recycled, right?
I was trying to show him that the penis is the what they call those statues and stuff, the monument or whatever they call them. Those
phallic symbol.
The phallic
monument.
symbol. I was trying to tell you, hey, man, your penis is the phallic symbol. It's empowerment. And he's like, no, my mangina. He said the mangina is God, brother Ali.
Damn, that's a sick nigga.
The Polite's locked up. Ollie was fuckboy. And all these guys that y'all thought nothing was gonna never happen to them, and they were just
nature boy.
The devil was just gonna let them. Even Emperor's ass, or Pharaoh's little ass.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought, he thought rubbing elbows with certain people and all. These people ain't me, man. They could be touched.
Sorry about that.
They could be touched.
Oh yeah. They was all, they was talking all this nature boy and all them. They was talking all that shit. Panic. His ass is dead. Panic. You remember Sister Panic, the nigga that was talking about drinking period blood and stuff.
Yeah. I remember.
That
his teacher is dead as well.
She's dead?
No, his teacher, Bobby Hemmett.
Two dead niggas that couldn't make 50 down there. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
that's how I
It's a damn
found.
shame.
I found you through your broadcast about Reverend Phil Valentine and Bobby Hemmett.
Yeah, and Polaire, I think somebody put that out there. Hey man, shouts out to you though, Polaire, when you was down, man. But you gotta realize, man, truth is there's only one key to get in your door. There's only one way to put your shoes on. Truth and right is one. You can't mix that with the chemetic people and I knew you had I knew you had a 5%, like I said, because I knew he had a 5%er symbol. You know, he used to always have that 7 at Clarence 13X. He was a fucking idiot, Clarence 13X. So it was probably my error. I don't know too many of you people in the UK. I didn't know you all were trying to get an identity of what's going on over here. I understand that now. And I would have told you, if you would accept it, I would have told you exactly what the fuck is going on over here. You know, but I understand you was getting bits and pieces everywhere, and you got some wrong shit, man. You know what I mean? You got some of that fruity shit.
You talking about this Supreme, this
Circle
7?
Yeah, Circle 7.
Wait, let me go back. Yeah, this is
But
7
he knew what I
this is his
taught
channel.
about all them people, man.
Yeah.
If he was listening to me more than them, I taught on Clarence,
There it
his
is right there.
dumbass, and all those guys. You know what I mean? I told him about what's their master teacher guy?
York.
I taught on York. I taught on every guy out here. I taught him and told you about Nature Fuckboy. A couple of times I told you about him. And
By
all
the
these
way,
Empress. Y'all could have gave Empress this too. You would have finished him off a lot faster.
You got
Empress Pharaoh. Huh?
What's that,
Rocky? Do you have any children?
Who is he talking
Supreme.
to?
He's asking you if you have children.
Yeah, I have 3.
Oh, cool. That's
3
cool.
adults. I have adult children.
Me too. Mine are all adults.
My oldest is 27. My youngest is 23.
27. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
I got a 27.
Mine are a year younger, both of them. A year younger, both yours.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
You said your oldest is 40, Rocky?
What?
Yeah,
Rocky got a 40-year-old?
Dude, Rocky looks like he's damn near like late
Rocky,
40s. How's that
you got
possible?
a 40-year-old, Rocky? You shitting me.
Yeah.
Dang, Rocky.
I'm 65, and I had my first child when I was, how old was I? Around 20.
Yeah, he looks young too, guy. He looks very young, guy.
Hey, that's cool, man.
Yeah. Children keep you
Keep
young.
doing what you're doing, man. You live past him and Hamburger Hemmett and Thai Fruity and all these other dumbasses.
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah. Children are keep you.
Fruity's still around.
My mama taught me. Be fruitful and multiply. Don't be fruity. Don't be fruity.
I gotta use you said be fruitful and multiply, don't be fruity. I like that. I'ma tell somebody that shit, man. Be fruitful and multiply. Don't be out here being fruity. Don't be a fruitcake.
I remember the 60s when they first started promoting the homo agenda. And we didn't like it very much back then. We didn't like it, and we would go start fights at their fucking homo bars. And
right on.
That's just
hey,
the way
you said you're in the 60s. Are you hippie?
No, I was really I was a Christian.
Oh, okay. Them hippies is pretty knowledgeable, man. I like talking with them.
I had to grow up with them, and I could get along with them. But they did have some good points. about war and shit, but they didn't live in reality. It was like they were promoting in my time sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and long hair. I was I joined the military when I was 17. I wanted to learn discipline, and I wanted to be able to protect my country if I ever was called on to do it. And I never was in a war when I was in the military, but didn't have to kill anybody. And I'm glad that I didn't.
Wait a minute, you was a Christian and went to war? Hold on a minute.
I'm glad I didn't.
Why did so many Christians go to war? When is that? When is that in the Bible? I thought the Lord said to love your neighbor and be peacemakers. When did you all start accepting war so easily?
Well, the Bible also has.
Oh, that's right. Christians responsible for most of the wars or Christian nations.
No, that's
not the war. It's if you look at history, religions were responsible for most of war. Islam and Christianity.
History is a big lie. Okay, so they've been lying to us for the last about 250, 300 years about our history. The scriptures, and I just found out.
So Christianity wasn't part of the slave trade, and Arabs, they weren't all a part of the slave trade.
Slave trade has been a thing for eternity. Slaves have existed since the beginning of fucking time. And yeah, so let's not get into the slave shit. I'm talking about the history where they pulled over your eyes. Back, the book of Revelations is history, and it's not future. And everybody's got their eschatology wrong. They're waiting for something that's already happened.
Okay, what proof? Well, they have proof of, we see the proof now on these Negroes of this Christian slave mentality. What proof do you have of your claim? Proof that we can look right now and say, okay, there's a science, there's a science of a dumbass nigga there talking about a white Jesus and some other stuff, and then
race.
We have math and science to prove our claim. What do you have?
Race has no meaning in this age. You can be saved. You can be saved. Red, yellow, black, or white, all the same in Jesus' sight. Doesn't.
We talking about slavery. What does that have to do with slavery?
White people have been slaves. The word slave comes from the word Slav, Slavia, slave or something like that. From what I don't know, maybe I don't know.
Wait, we're not gonna let you not claim slavery as it was not race.
When Italians first came over here, they were.
Are you saying slavery? You saying slavery in America was not racial? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying that every race has.
Oh, there's been a lot of race. Yeah. I think Irish, weren't they slaves? I think Brother Ali knows more history of Irish. I think they were.
When the Italians,
like you said, every nation had slaves, probably most likely throughout history.
Yeah, I agree with that.
When the Italians came to America, they were considered lower class.
Right. People will go to the docks and throw garbage on them when they come off the ship.
I think they used to call them wops or something. The Italians, they used to call them niggas or wops.
I grew up.
They called them niggas.
I grew up in a German neighborhood. Everybody had blonde hair, blue eyes.
Oh, they call them Dagos. Dago.
I had black hair and dark eyes, so I was kind of like discriminated because I wasn't white enough for them. But I'm not white or black. I'm Italian. So that's like,
Oh, you're a Dago then, huh?
They used to call me a blackhead.
Hey, what the hell is a Dago? Where does that come from? What is that? What does that mean?
They'd stick their finger like on each temple, call me a blackhead, and pop, like blackheads.
Like a pimple?
You pop your pimple, blackheads. Yeah, because they were mostly blondes and shit, So they popped their pimple or whatever. Yeah, I got in trouble.
Well, to bring it up to speed now, don't you live off the grid, Rocky? You have your own farm and stuff.
Yeah, I live off the grid.
Well, that's good.
Nice.
I think we promote that, right? Promote
Yeah.
living off the grid. Yeah.
Rocky probably could teach a class one day and show us how to do it more.
That would be awesome. That would be amazing.
I raised 7 of my children off grid. And, I have a hydro generator that runs in my backyard off my creek. So I don't need solar or a generator. It's runs 24/7.
Wow.
So I got a wash machine and a dryer and TV, but I don't get cell service too far up in the mountains. So I come down here to my office in town where I stay connected with what's going on.
Oh, so that's how you do it, Rocky? I was always wondering that. So that's your office when you stream. Okay.
So when people say they live off the grid, that means like, because I started asking you, so you have no need or use for money, and I was like, you have to have use for money because you have to buy gas, you to drive or whatever else, wherever land you spend on or certain food or whatever. If you're not totally growing all your food or if it's season or whatever. So when people say I'm totally off the grid, not thinking that, I'm thinking like you can live with your food, you you can live like the animals, your food, your shelter, everything, you live off the land, or you get, you know what I mean? Like you're untraceable to the world. But you're saying you still kind of interact, I guess, from the mountains.
I have a retirement fund, so
yeah,
I live, and that's fixed income. But if they were to shut off my money right now, I wouldn't need nothing. I could live off my fucking land.
Oh, he said my fucking land.
I got deer.
I heard that, man.
Cougar, bear.
Wait a minute, you eat the cougar and the bear? You got some cougars and bears up there?
We got moose, elk, mountain goat. We got whitetail. We got
that's the Bible.
We got and I got plenty of bullets. It only takes one bullet, so I got plenty. Yeah, but right now I don't need to do that.
Yeah, but if you ran out of ammo now, you have to go buy you some ammo.
I got enough.
You forgot about that, Rocky. You ran out of
I got enough for a few zombies too.
Hey, that's actually a plan on the army.
Hey, if he's saying that he got plenty to spare even for some zombies, listen to this is wise words here. That means this motherfucker got some hella bullets. That means he got like 10 million bullets. When he says something like that, he got enough for the zombies, he's saying.
No, the zombies, they can't even make it out of the cities without Google Maps. So none of them will even make it. None of them will even make it up here. You gotta know how to make it to my place. It's not
damn, that's deep.
Not like Google Map or something.
So is this the future of righteousness? Getting off the grid?
Yes, they're gonna go to. They're getting ready to launch this Starlink thing. They already signed Stargate, and so what they're gonna use free energy or Tesla's free energy grid that's supposed to really make energy free for everybody. Through this test, we see what's happening. I can't imagine Tesla giving any fucking thing for free, but everything's supposed to go into clean, better energy efficient. So we'll keep that in mind, huh?
He said that sucks because he took over the name because the real Nikola Tesla, he was all about free energy and people not having to pay for what's already there. Whereas this dickhead Elon Musk, he took the name and just shit on everything.
There's a good being self-sufficient and making your own, like pulling the energy from the air is good.
Yeah,
but it's not good for transportation. That's for sure, because You don't want to use it for your transportation, logistics, and your food, because then you're dependent on power stations and all this. Now it's good for me because I live off grid. It's good for me because I don't have. But there's also ways to free energy. If I, that's old. Even back in the 20s, they had electric cars and stuff. But even Edison, even though he had an electric car, he drove around a diesel because it was, you can drive for 500 miles on a tank of fuel. But if you have to recharge it and then you got these, it's a dumb system. They even knew that back in the 20s. Like they had electric cars way back in the day, and they weren't any good. I don't know, this black gold, it's all over the place. They fool you into thinking that it's not renewable. It's a renewable source. The earth makes it. It doesn't run out. It's not fossil fuels. It's not dinosaurs buried from the flood. That's what we found out, that crude oil is a natural self-plenishing, comes from the earth. And they tell you that it's rare, we're going to run out. And there's plenty of it. It just grows. It's like grows back.
It's renewable then.
Yeah,
a lot of
Rockefellers, when they first, started using it instead of whale oil, they called it fossil fuels. In other words, dinosaurs buried. And when you find the last dinosaur that was buried, it's all gone.
Damn.
But if you know it's renewable,
that's extreme propaganda right there.
That's extreme propaganda.
Wow.
Yeah, way back in the 20s when Rockefellers, and I remember growing up, there was only one gas station, Standard Oil. Every gas station was a Standard Oil. And then they had Gulf. But even Gulf was owned by Standard. Standard owned Texaco. And that was the Rockefellers in the 20s when they took like a monopoly on the oil.
Yeah. That just shows you how strategic they are. They don't even want to put their names around it. They name all these other names. While some person that wants to have their name be the biggest thing, they put their name on all the gas stations, but they were like, "No, we want it. We don't want you to."
That was probably shortly after they took Nixon took him off the gold standard, and he made a deal with the Arabs to pay in petrodollars, where they supply them with oil, and America would give them protection, and they would run this petrodollar back and forth.
Yeah, Standard. It was called Standard Oil of New York, or Sony. Standard Oil of New York, Sony. Standard Oil of New York, Sony. So after World War II, Standard Oil of New York took over Japan. They named their big electronics company Standard Oil of New York, Sony. Right in your face. So
wow, that's an American company.
Standard Oil. After World War II, Standard Oil of New York went into Japan, created Sony, and so the Japanese have been working for Americans, kind of like, I don't know, the Rothschild. It's just they lost the war. When the Japanese lose a war, they're very honorable, and they actually work for the people that won the war. So the Standard Oil of New York, I don't know if they know, but I did that research way back in the 70s, 80s, or not. I don't remember when I found out about that Japanese connection.
Yeah, I always thought it was Japanese.
Yeah, the LA Japanese were buying up all the skyscrapers in LA way back in the day. I mean, they went rogue. roads or something. That started working for the Illuminati or something.
Well, what they did was they took they got back at America quick by putting a TV in every household, a brainwashing device. Although they're, their corporation, their TVs, man. That's one of the biggest addictions and weapons.
I remember as a child that American-made toys were the best, but the Japanese they started coming in with their Japanese toys. They were always junk, but then all of a sudden, now the Japanese toys took over, and now all American shit's junk. It's like they took over some of our industry. They made all our electronics. They made our cars. And and that's how
make
they
our
wore.
Cartoons.
They wore by getting up at work and just working. It's like a war machine.
That would be a whole new class about Japan in this.
I lived in Japan for a year.
Okinawa?
Yeah, Okinawa.
Marine?
Yeah.
Awesome.
They're nice people. They're very good cooks. Mama Sans will wash your clothes and dry them and starch them for you.
Yeah. I've been there one time to Okinawa. I live in Taiwan. It's about an hour and a half away from where I am. Yeah. But the Supreme, we're about, we're over 3 hours. Brother Ali, did you want to make any closing remarks or anything else you want to add?
I'll just say, no, I'll let Brother Ali go. I'll close it. Go ahead.
Brother Ali, you still there? I know you're still there. I see you.
Who was talking? Was somebody?
Well, that was Rocky.
Oh, okay.
And then he said, "Excuse me." Yeah.
Oh, okay. Give me a moment.
Yeah, Brother Ali, brother. So you should definitely go last then. Do you have anything to share, Rocky? I appreciate you coming up.
I got one question for you. You say you live in Thailand. Do they have high groves where they go up into the mountains with statues of gods and stuff?
Well, I live in Taiwan. And
I've been to Taiwan. That's the Republic of Korea. We went there on a float. That was all right.
The only thing I'll say about the gods, real quick, about Taiwan, before I hand it over to Brother Supreme, is that it's interesting enough. The god Mazu is the main god of Taiwan. It's black. It's the black god, which I always thought was interesting. And that's the god they pray to protect them from the when the U.S. was bombing Taiwan, because at the time of the World War II, it was under Japanese occupation. Some of the American bombers, they said they saw a black goddess on the clouds and catching the bombs or something like that. This has been reputed. You can look it up. It's interesting. That's about all I know about the gods here in Taiwan. Yeah.
We went on a float from Okinawa to Taiwan. We spent some time there. I think that was shore leave after we went to North Korea and hung out with the North Korean rock Marines.
Hold on, did you just say somebody said they were goddesses catching bombs or something?
Yeah, this is what some of the pilots and the bomber crew said in the U.S. Air Force about what they witnessed. This is what they said.
You do Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Hiroshima and Nagasaki were firebombed. They weren't nukes are fake. They were firebombed, just like Tokyo. Looks just like Tokyo.
that was Japan. Yeah, they were talking about Taiwan though. But yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah, Taiwan.
Yeah. But yeah, so Brother Supreme is interesting. I'll send you some of the articles about that. Interesting.
We got all these videos. All these people talking about they seen people crawling and and turning it in different shit, man. I mean, some of that stuff we seen some of it on video, but today there's camera phones everywhere, man. There's nobody shouldn't be claiming shit they can't prove on a video. Their own
Yeah, that's
video.
today.
Matter of fact, a person carrying around a camera 24/7. Shit, it's your phone. You got a 24-hour, 24/7. If I see something really interesting, I'm a bust it out. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I used to take pictures.
Yeah.
All the time when I was in the Marines and when I went on floats, and I got pictures of when I was in Thailand. I think still. I took pictures of their Buddhist gods, and they had fences around them, and they would walk up to where was that at? That was North Korea. Taiwan.
Okay, I got the right closing idea. The transmission I was looking for.
Go.
This is what it is. Stay posted because you all are about to find out how, not just how big of liar. We already knew the government is liars, but you guys are going to realize, or you guys are going to find out just how fucked up they really are toward us. And I mean beyond the MSG and poisoning us. They're about to release the JFK files and some of the other things. Things about the false to the moon horseshit where they were filming in a studio claiming that they went to the moon. That's coming out. A lot of exposure about lies from this, how the government's been, how you all, COVID. Oh, excuse me.
COVID-19.
Pandemics that were self-inflicted. Even these crises here, economic things, so they could push in their new world order. You know, everybody's hollering economics. We need better economics, but they're about, all these countries are about to give you a digital dollar, possibly, or money that's you're not used to. Eventually, they're gonna fade into that. Although you're so focused on they create, and I think George Floyd had the tattoo on him. He said it was a Masonic emblem, and it was a symbol that said "Order out of chaos." You remember that emblem that George Floyd wore, or he had a tattoo of? Yeah. So order out of chaos means the government has to create chaos. They have to create a crisis in Iraq or a crisis in Vietnam or whatever, killing innocent Vietnam people because they aimed something or whatever their people had or whatever, and take their land. I still to this day, I heard there's some serious technology in Vietnam. To this day, we don't know what the fuck was under Vietnam if they wanted. What type of technology Vietnam is sitting under? That's what we should be thinking about. Where this is a little ass country where they had bombs inside the jungle. These people guerrilla war did the greatest guerrilla warfare tactic of utilizing the jungle. This man was a knob. He could tell you these motherfuckers used the hell off that jungle, didn't they, Rocky?
I don't think he said he was a knob. But
oh, okay. He didn't ever say he was a knob.
CIA. We found out in North Korea that the CIA runs to North Korea. They probably run the Vietnamese now.
Yeah.
The North Koreans are opposition. It's our controlled opposition ran by the CIA. We learned that. I don't know when we learned that, but it's quite a couple decades ago. That came out.
Yeah. They were running similar operations in China. They do it with Mao. This is why Taiwan was created, because the U.S. was supposed to back the nationalists fighting the communist Mao, and they didn't. They backed Mao the communists, and it kind of backfired on them. And here we are today.
That's the whole JBS society.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah. But the point is, you're saying that Supreme, there's a lot of technology, like in Iraq and also Vietnam. Probably this is probably why they go to war
Dude,
there.
what's in Vietnam that they wanted?
Well, when I left Iraq and Afghanistan, I remember we left thousands of Humvees and MRAPs. And then, Afghanistan has a border with China. Right? They have a small border with China. And we left all our gear behind in Afghanistan. I mean, I remember I used to be a mechanic. That's all I did over there. And we had rows and rows. We'd get new shit in all the time. Get rid of the old Humvees, bring in the MRAPs. Then we'd have MRAPs. Then we had 5 different variants of MRAPs, and we left them all behind. And that was supposed to be our top technology. And then they just
I would say the Vietnamese, the Vietnam people, I would say back then they were quite a bit racist there.
Yeah, when we left Vietnam, we left our helicopters, we left all our machinery behind, and they're really smart at reverse engineering. They're really good mechanics,
No, I'm saying that the Vietnamese was racist because they used to write for the black people in the war. They used to say, "Black man, go home. It's not your fight." Y'all remember that, bro?
Yeah, I remember hearing that. But
they used to write letters. They used to write notes to him and say, "Black man, go home. It's not your war." Remember that in there's a part in there in Dead Presidents where he had that.
Yeah.
I think it was Chris Tucker. He was reading it and he said,
I remember that. But I think from their perspective, the reason they did it, they were trying to say that the black man has more solidarity with the Viet Cong than the American. I think that's what they were trying to say. They were trying to say that the damn United States was the racist one by saying that.
One thing I learned about
they didn't say any man go home. They said black. They were specifically talking to black men.
Well, I know, but I'm saying though, it's because they're saying that the black man, that your own country, your own government don't treat you right. So why the hell are you fighting for them?
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they were saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't treat vets at all right. Anyone that gets out of the military, right? And the one thing about being at war and it unites. Like I remember being, and the blacks and the whites got along because we were in a war zone. It does unite. That's the way it unites people. And so, I get along with all of. When there were blacks, there were Hispanics, there were all kinds of races there, and maybe we all got fooled or something. The whole world was deceived. Who knows? I didn't find out till 2010 what the hell went on.
Yeah.
9/11 and all that shit.
Right. Hey, you still got your transmission, Brother Supreme?
Oh yes, man. Just stay tuned for that. I think, did you equate that with the snake exposure?
The exposure, yes.
Oh yeah, that's very true. That is
the plans
very
will be coming
true.
to light.
Huh?
The plans and strategies will be coming to light.
Yeah, because if whenever they get this, no more fact checking and uncensored stuff out the way. We were talking about earlier. What's all the things there? The bill we were talking about. Censorship. Once we get that out the way, you're gonna see all kinds of truth that people been hiding that's gonna come out, man.
Yeah.
And it will be no more fact checking, them trying to, prevent the truth or knowledge from hitting mainstream or the media or the social media. I mean, that's not gonna. Truth is gonna just flourish, man. And in that, a lot of exposure is gonna come out. Mainly about the government, mainly about all the other things they've been doing and hiding to the people. And their most thing that I'm going to expose is their good old church boy who's been keeping people weak and slave and unquestioning his belief shit under a feminine mentality. because a man is supposed to know. Only a woman believes. A man has to have facts. He has to have evidence. When he builds a house, he has to use measurements. He has to use arithmetic and intelligence. He can't be in no emotional state. So you all have been serving this government, and they've been giving y'all tax-free money, or they've been giving really more than that grants. They've been greasing y'all basically. You all been working for the government. They've been greasing y'all the whole time. So that's
Greasing their palm.
greasing their palm, man. So that's about to come out too, along with all the other foul shit the government's been on.
Okay. That's righteous. That's righteous. That's good. This is good. Future is bright. The future is here and now.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So we appreciate it. That was a powerful broadcast, man. I think we last week, was it was good, but this was great. This was great.
Wonderful. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I want to thank everybody for listening and contributing. Brother Ali, especially Brother Supreme, as always, especially Rocky. Thank you for coming by and sharing and listening. Zephyr, yeah, and let's do this again.
All right.
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah. Peace. Yeah. Well, so this has been What Must Be Done Now for the Human Being, the Future of Righteousness, Brother Ali and Supreme Creator. Yeah, and then a happy Lunar New Year, Year of the Snake, where strategies will be unveiled. Okay. This has been the Supreme Creator broadcast. We'll see you next time. Math and Science.
Math and Science.
Math and Science.